Reginald. That is poop.
Hey, I didn't draw it.
That is poop. Thank you for putting that there.
I didn't do that.
I did that.
Oh, well, why'd you change your name to the wrong name?
I didn't. That's what Josh...
No, that was me.
Can you hear Josh?
Yeah, I can hear Josh.
Alright. He's just moving the pointer around.
Gotcha.
Man, look at that nice looking chocolate ice cream right there. That's just
It's frozen yogurt.
So here's the thing
God,
about
that's disgusting.
Here's the thing about the drawing. The audience can't see it, so let's not refer to it too heavily. But I will go ahead and mention it now that Bryce. First of all, welcome if you're viewing this VOD. Welcome to Dungeon Boys playing Curse of Strahd. I'm Keith and I'm your DM. Boys, introduce yourselves.
Josh playing as Reginald.
I am Bryce playing as Jericho Muldrinker.
I am Zenas playing as Errol Durman.
Errol Durman. The boys, the Dungeon Boys, are back in town. We have a podcast if you're just tuning into this. It's called Dungeon Boys. You can find it where podcasts are sold. But the drawing we're referring to is we're using an app called Aw App. Somebody's scratching their face with their microphone. We're using an app called Aw App to draw things. I will be using it to draw combat for the players. Bryce found it. Good on him. Very cool application there. But we won't. We'll try not to refer to it. Like Josh has drawn us a big poop on there. I'm not going to refer.
Hey, that is definitely not me.
It is still not Josh drawing.
Bryce is drawing the poop. Josh is commenting on the poop.
I mean, I can draw one if you want to, but I mean,
No. Hopefully we'll have some folks tune in. Let us know if audio's okay. I do have some music playing underneath us in the background that should loop. It's a 15-minute track of spooky music that will hopefully cut out, some background noise that we may be dealing with. But of course, this is all for the VOD people. But we plan to put this on the podcast as well. So know that we are live streaming it. Know that there may be chat that we deal with. It may harsh the flow of this. We'll see how it goes. But we're not popular enough to be changing our winning formula. So we're trying new things. But we're playing Curse of Strahd tonight. We do have something to draw on for combat. We have an announcement. Last week we did record the pilot episode of this show, but at the end we did have some technical difficulties, so the characters made it to a certain point. We're going to back it up and start over again at a close and similar point. You're not going to lose. We're not going to be retconning the whole thing. But does anyone want to offer an explanation of what has gone on so far in our playthrough of Curse of Strahd?
Reginald
I
dab.
whiffed. I whiffed so bad.
Let's not start there, though. We did a few things before you whiffed.
Well, we met in an inn, and I forget the man's name, but as we were discussing the day's events, Muldrinker and Durman rescuing Reginald from a giant spider, I believe it was, a man came in and scanning the inn, he saw that our group of 3 was the most adventurous looking group, so he came over and gave us letters, said that his master in Barovia was looking for us. Then we kind of messed around a bit in the inn a little bit and spent the night there, and then headed off east.
We had some inferred things that happened before we even started, though, that we were kind of referencing throughout the whole time leading up to where we start.
Yeah, I mean, you can fill in whatever you want. I didn't know how deep we were going into it.
All right, you continue with your thing, and we can add that at the end.
On the way there, we encountered some spooky fog and forest, and then met some wolves. One was black, the others were regular wolves. The black wolf seemed to be the leader. It had some sort of special stuff going on where it could heal, as opposed to the others. One of them did reach up and give Josh's neck a little nibble, Reginald's neck a little nibble. Yeah, just a little nibble. Took him down like 12 hit points. No big deal. No big
Yeah,
deal
it
for
was
level
quite a
1
nibble.
adventure.
It was a
Also
chomp.
known
You only
as
got 12
all
hit
of
points.
his hit points.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, that was a crit on like the first attack of the game. That was out there.
Yeah, the wolf did crit.
Well, that sucks for Reginald. But he's alive.
Oh, hey, yeah, keep going, Dennis. I actually have to go get my dice so we can play this game.
Okay. Reginald was saved, I believe, by Jericho. Sorry, names are hard. Managed to get him back up on his feet a little bit, and then journeying through. I forget exactly what happened next, or the order at least. So one of you other boys can fill us.
We found a corpse. We found a dead body.
The wolves ran off. We would not have been able to defeat them. One of us was down, and I was mortally wounded, and the other was up a tree.
Yeah, and only one of you knew that one of them seemed special.
Yeah. Jericho had, I think I got a nat 20 on that perception check, and I noticed that the one wolf seemed to be a little different than the rest of them. That black wolf that Zenas mentioned earlier, Keith said it looked almost like it had a really shiny coat. It looked like a well taken care of wolf. It looked like it actually was a pet rather than just a wild animal.
Well taken care of.
So well taken care of.
And it took care of us pretty well as well.
Yeah, the wolves.
So well.
The wolves.
Well,
I mean, I feel like with some teamwork, maybe you could have handled them. Who knows? But then.
Well, yeah, but Reginald, he's kind of out to prove himself. He kind of thinks of himself as being larger than he actually is. So he rushed in, and consequences.
There were some consequences. And so, yeah, following that is when you all found the body in the bushes, right?
Yes, indeed.
The old bush body.
So you learned there was important information that went along with that body, right?
Yeah, the letter we got from that body seemed to describe a different sort of tone than the other one. The first one was about the master's beloved languishing from a wound, but in this one it said something about the master's daughter and like the land itself being plagged
of the same name. Important detail is that the original letter said Irina Kolyana, the master's beloved, was injured and languishing. The letter you found in the bushes said that the master's daughter, Irina Kolyana, same name.
Did it say the master's daughter, or did it say
the burgomaster's daughter?
Okay.
It said adopted daughter, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it might have been written. Let me go back and remember.
No, we did. It did also examine them side by side, and it seemed like they were written by two different people.
If I remember right, didn't the letter basically point out, hey, don't come here. This is not a good thing to do.
The first one said that we'd get everything. Like if we went there and helped, we would get pretty much everything this guy had to offer. But the second one said, hey, why don't you just not ever come here again?
Yeah,
wait until we're all dead.
Exactly.
Then you can have it.
The sign off of the second letter said, there is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
That's practically invitation right there.
Yeah, right?
So yeah, also in general, this world is extremely spooky. There's been a fog lingering over the whole land. It is early morning. They're passing through. Well, not anymore. They've been traveling for several hours. It's probably midday at this point. But everywhere they've traveled through a spooky forest. That's why you see the spooky forest here on the screen. Also, if anybody does tune into the stream or whatever, let us know if you hear everybody okay, if the background music is too loud, not loud enough, yada yada. But yes, they traveled down the Svalich Road, the old Svalich Road, right? Is what it was called. Maybe.
I do not remember.
They were going through the Svalich Woods because yes, you're on Old Svalich Road. The person who told you to come this way said you should never travel the Svalich Woods at night. But it leads through this foggy, spooky land that they are traveling down. Very gothic so far. and they pass through. I'll go ahead and let you see some gates that they pass through. They pass through these gates on the way into Barovia. You guys, if you're in Discord, you can scroll up and remember those, or just pull it from your memory if you have access to that memory.
Put it back when you're done, though.
Yeah, do put that back.
Right.
They pass through these gates into Barovia. The gates.
Decapitated statues.
Yes.
Those.
And the gates magically opened in front of them and closed behind them. Ah, hey, Zenas is in the chat.
I'm everywhere.
Now, can our adoring fans not see the drawing board through your screen?
No, I have not figured that out yet.
Ah, I see.
Well, I could do the screen, but then I'd have to be changing. I'm gonna, hopefully next time we do it, have it in our little box thing as part of our overlay to be able to switch to it.
Cool.
To be able to switch to it. Goodness. I take one ear off. My face is all flushed and red. So they passed through those gates, and they were headed toward a village.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to describe the village so far? We're at a distance, so that we shouldn't go any farther than that. We did go into the village last week. That's something we're leaving behind to redo, possibly differently. Who knows? But we are now standing at a distance. You're about 200 yards away from this village, and I suppose I should describe it. I'm not going to ask you all to describe it since that's where we're starting. Here we go. Let me read this. Tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot as you guys approach the village. We'll say you're closing this 200 yards as you take in this description. As always, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. If your character is interested in anything and everything, let me know, deal with it, or just ask each other questions. Do whatever you want to do. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. The windows of each house stare out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts the silence except for mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. As you approach this village,
I would like to perception check on the village and see if I notice anything that looks like people milling about and the like.
okay,
I would like to do the same.
go ahead and roll that. And while you roll it, I'm going to offer you another visual aid in the Discord.
I think I'm also going to do the old perception check, but I think for me, I just want to double check and see, like, does it look like, people have been, like, coming and going here? Like, does it look like people have left recently, like, fled?
Sure. So for you, I think that would be more a nature check than a perception check. If you're looking for tracks and stuff.
I could do that.
So I would say go ahead and go for that. Tell
That is
me.
a big old 7.
All right. So you don't notice any particular tracks. The only thing you notice that any tracks going into and out of this town are very sparse. There's not a lot going through, but you do notice that there aren't many, but there are a few ruts where wagons have passed through this village. Not very recently, but you can see where wagons sometimes do pass through here. Okay. Jericho, what was your roll?
I got that old natural light 20.
Dang, natural 20.
Which is exactly what I got last time.
Wow, very impressive. So, let me consult my map and make sure I give you all the information that you deserve for that natural 20. So you guys are coming in from the east heading west. You're looking down what looks to be the main thoroughfare of this town, or at least one of the main thoroughfares, a horizontal one. Seems to be down the street ahead of you, another kind of an open square. You can see through the fog as it blows through. Three interesting things about the buildings. Let me crunch on this candy so I can stop flopping it around in my mouth. Did you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Rip off that
Cool.
Band-Aid.
Some interesting things about the town. You can tell directly ahead of you and a little bit to the left is where you hear that sobbing coming from. It's not a whole town's worth of sobbing. It seems to be limited to a very specific area, and it's let's see, about 300 yards down the street, in front of you and a little to the left. You had a question?
Yes. With my natural 20, can I? What can I tell about the sobbing?
It is
sound like a male, female, child.
It sounds
adult?
interesting question. It is a female sobbing. I'm not going to let you pinpoint the age of the person sobbing with the natural 20, but you can definitely tell it is a woman, a moanful adult woman.
All right.
Who is sobbing in the distance. Another important detail, or more important details, that all the houses that you are walking past and looking at, if not all, most houses are completely dark. Many houses have scratch marks and claw marks on the walls, as well as the evidences of fire having, brushed up against or been set upon these buildings at some point. Many windows are broken. Many doors hang, shoddily on their hinges. It doesn't look like a lot of people call this place their home, and the ones that do can't be very well-to-do. And in several of the houses, you can hear the sounds of movement. Nothing particularly sinister one way or the other, or joyful, just you can hear that many of these houses do have occupants, whatever they may be, but despite looking the way they do.
I would like to... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Zenas, what was your roll? I guess I'll tell you what that you got.
I got a 22.
Unnaturally?
Yeah, unnaturally, definitely. Unnatural 22.
But we will call that you notice the very same things.
Cool. Well, I don't... I don't know about you boys, but I'd like to see what that crying's about.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Looking around, you feel like you kind of missed your party, I suppose.
What?
Yeah, it looks like somebody got here before us. Everything looks so run down and destroyed.
Yes, rather spooky, I would say.
Hey,
Let's go
where's
find out what's
everyone
going on. What's that, Reginald?
Hey, where's everyone at?
I don't know. We haven't been here before. I hope that nothing terrible has happened to them, but I really can't answer that question, Reginald.
Just to ask, like, out of character real quick, is there like a big pause or something going on?
A big pause?
Yeah, like I'll say something and then there's like a good 10 seconds before somebody says something back.
No, I think that's just people thinking of the response.
Okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't like a technical thing.
I think we're also getting used to being remote, and I think all of us don't really want to step on each other's toes speaking, and everybody wants to hear what everyone else is saying. But important to note, as I'm the DM and only observing. Ooh, we're being raided by War Never Changes. Watch us play some D&D. All right, thank you for the raid, War. We're playing a little Curse of Strahd this evening. Also, anyone who's listening to this in podcast form, these are the kind of things that we will be enjoying if we are streaming live. And War resub. Thanks for resubbing again, man. I appreciate that. And
it's D&D.
He says it is D&D time, boys. So, real quickly, as your DM characters, a lot of times when we've played together, you always have a lovable companion that is played by me that can kind of fill any conversational gaps. But with you guys being alone right now, if you guys want to say, "Well, I continue walking forward," let me know and we'll continue from there. But I'll let y'all talk as long as you want to talk.
I am walking to that house.
Okay.
I will follow him. I feel like there is a tiny bit of a delay somewhere.
There might be.
I think we'll be okay though. No.
Yes.
Hey, Diamond, wait. Where's you going?
I'm heading to that house, like I said. I think it's interesting. I don't really see anything else that could be of use around here.
here for a reason. We might as well get to the bottom of it.
Yes, I agree, Molly. You see, we can be friends after all.
I'm gonna get a fine reward for hauling you in.
No, don't be so mean.
Just keep walking.
Okay, you guys continue heading down the street. Whoa, T-Dubs, thank you for those 500 bits, man. I appreciate it. Go ahead, now that we have a few people coming into the stream like this, we are playing D&D. I want to communicate with you guys, chatting as much as you can, as much as I can, but also we'll try to keep to the game too, so I don't keep interrupting with, the pleasures of you guys donating bits and everything. Appreciate you guys. You know I love you. Welcome to the stream. So you guys continue walking down the street. One important thing that I didn't mention when I was describing it earlier is that there's no one on these streets. There, you don't see any sort of movement. No one's moving around outdoors. But you guys continue down the street. You pass a first intersection with a kind of another cobblestone lane crossing perpendicular to the street you're on. You continue walking. You walk past another street that leads off to the right. You continue walking. Just picture this area you're in. This picture I have in the Discord as well as on the stream. Picture that kind of in the midday fog light. Not a whole lot of bright sunlight, but it is brighter than darkness. You eventually come to what looks like it would be the main thoroughfare, the main square of this town. You can see several larger buildings around you, around this square. Do you guys beelining it to the sobbing? Do you take any of this in, or do you guys want me to tell you what you see as you pass through this intersection? How focused are you?
Dermon's kind of looking around, glancing passively, I guess, at everything.
Okay, I will.
Reginald's
like
just
to-
trying to kind of. Go ahead.
I'd like to know what we cross over.
Sure. So when you pass through this main square, you can see a building to your right, a fairly large building. When you look at it, you see the following: a single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the main square, its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood of the Vine Tavern. And then across the street from that, so that's to your right as you enter the square. To your left is another building, building of similar size, slightly smaller, would be described as follows. The sparse light from this building spills out from behind drawn heavy curtains. A sign over the door, creaking on its hinges, reads, Bildrath's Mercantile. So, in order to find the source of the sobbing, you will have to turn left at this square and go past Bildrath's Mercantile to a house that is just beyond it, where you can tell the sobbing is definitely coming from.
I think Reginald was about to say something before me or Josh say something on his behalf.
Okay.
No, I was actually going to say I wanted to try to take another swing at the perception check, see if I noticed anything weird, but you just kind of described like the square, so that's okay.
Do you have any interest in anything specific that I have not mentioned? If you want, you're welcome to roll if you want.
I'm okay. This is kind of where we left off, I think, on last week. So before the microphone started getting kind of scratchy and stuff.
Correct.
Right. So
Now this is a fairly big place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big town.
Yeah.
You walk 400 yards to get to this, from the edge of the town to get to the city square.
We didn't pass life between here and there, like not a whole lot. Like it's very, very sparse.
Yeah,
right?
nothing that you could see. No one came to a window. Many of these houses look almost like they're completely vacant. The ones that seem like the door is actually shut, and there might be people in there. There's no one stirring to come see you. There is nothing but a few low burning street lamps as you pass through this foggy town street. But no, you don't see any signs of. When I say signs of life, I mean you don't see any living thing moving around you.
Yeah.
So with my 7, like I still haven't noticed the sobbing. I'm just kind of like on autopilot following these guys, taking in, the whole scene of things. I mean, to Reginald, this is just, it seems like he came here looking for adventure, and it seems like, adventure has already kind of passed this place.
Sure, okay. Okay, so you guys are continuing to the sobbing, or what we got?
Yes. It seems like a
Okay.
rather cheery place, doesn't it?
Somebody definitely sounds happy to be here.
Jericho and Jericho and Derman, with Reginald in tow, pass in front of Bildrath's Mercantile, and they head to a house that is on the same side of the street. So whenever you make a left at the town square, on the right side of the street are a bunch of houses in a row. On the left side is Bildrath's Mercantile, which opens onto the street you just turned onto. Just beyond that is a house that opens onto the street you just turned onto, and from this house you can hear the sobbing much louder. And the sobbing at this point is something that no matter what you would roll in a perception check, you could hear the sobbing from outside this home. So Reginald, you of course hear that now.
I don't know. I've had some pretty low rolls.
No, you could definitely hear it.
Hey, fellas. Who's
Yeah?
that crying in there?
That's what we intend to find out, Reginald.
Well, I'm going to check it out. There's somebody in there needs help.
Yes, I imagine so. I'll be right behind you.
I'm
Yes, I'm
beelining that way.
A moaning sob floats through the still gray streets, coloring your thoughts with sadness. The sounds flow from this dark 2-story townhouse. So the house is 2 stories. This one thing that you notice about the door, it is boarded up and barricaded. Whenever we'll say Reginald, you're trying to open the door.
Well, I've come up to the place. I kind of want to like call out a little bit. All right, anybody in there? Need some help?
Okay, so you can tell that the door has been barred. You can tell that on the outside a little bit there's some barring, as well as when you kind of peer through a window you can see some things pressed against that door. Whenever you call that out, no, there is no response. The sobbing just continues.
Can I do an insight check to see like does this look like it was boarded up to keep something in or to keep something out?
It looks more like it's been boarded from the inside than the outside.
Okay.
I want to... Hang on.
Ooh.
Well, while you boys sit here and deal with this front door, I'm going to see if I can find a way in from the up top. And I would like to try and climb my way up to the 2nd floor.
Okay. So there is a little porch on this front door, so you could climb onto the top of the porch, and there is a window on the 2nd story that you could climb to, but it will require an athletics check.
Even with the climbing speed?
Excuse me. I would say, for funsies, I know you're good at climbing. I would like a roll just to see if anything horrible happens.
Okay.
Barring
See if death occurs.
barring a horrible roll, you'll be fine. But you are a Catman.
Yeah. That's a 5.
You expertly climb up the thing. On a 1, we would have penalized you, but you are a Catman, so you climb up to this on top of this porch, and to see a window that looks inside this home.
Ooh. I'm gonna... I kind of go back to the edge a little bit and like cup my hands and say, "Boys, there's a window up here. I'm going to see if I can find. Oh. Well, you get the picture, I think." And I turn around and I look back at the window.
Okay.
Hey,
About
Well,
my
Let's see if we can
The,
find our own way in.
is he trying to get himself in, or is he trying to rob this place?
You can never tell with a thief like him. We should probably get in there to make sure he doesn't do anything destructive.
Right. Sounds like a good plan to me. I walk right up to the door and I knock on the door.
Okay. As you have that conversation, I do want to give Derman the chance to peer into that window while you're having that conversation. So let's let Derman look into that window. Roll a little perception over there.
Oh man, that's that big old 14.
Nice.
I was really hoping when I said keep him from doing something destructive, his first reaction would be to like kick in the door right in front of me.
he did like the half of that, I guess.
Yeah.
So you go to the window. It's a round window that you might expect to see in this the pitched roof that you're looking in on right now. You look into a bedroom with a pitch ceiling. You can see on the far end of this room is a 4-post bed, a canopy bed. You're peering through a window that has 2 dark curtains kind of framing it. The window is extremely foggy. It has not been cleaned in what seems like hundreds of years. But as you look in, you can see the small frame of a woman in tattered clothes sitting in the middle of the floor, clutching a small object. And she is just sobbing. She doesn't notice you. She doesn't see you. She's actually facing away from you. And she's clutching this object, and she's rocking kind of back and forth on the floor and sobbing. That's not spooky, that's just funny, but you get the picture.
Okay, if anybody's ever seen Army of Darkness, this is that iconic moment. Don't do it. It's a trap. Get the axe.
We'll see what all it is. You guys, play as you play as you will. As well, I'd just like to thank everybody who is watching. Appreciate it. Let us know as far as audio if there's any issues. So we definitely want to know that. And, of course, always chat amongst yourselves. Or if you need me to see something, let me know. Back downstairs to the orc and the... Bryce, what are you called again? A switcher? Shifter. That was it.
Yeah. I'm a crocodilian type shifter.
Yes. Real quick, let's clear up for everyone who may be just tuning in. Jericho Muldrinker is a bounty hunter crocodilian shifter whose quarry, in a way, is Derman, the Catman thief. Tabaxi rogue thief, same thing. So some backstory is that there's a bounty hunter and the thief. They are now embroiled together, even though they were adversarial and once helped each other out of a pinch, I believe. And then Reginald is an orc that they found on the road, and they are now all embroiled in this story. That's I think the most succinct way of saying it as we continue forward. Boys.
That's pretty much it right there.
Hey,
I'm pounding on the door.
Good. Also, I'm glad to hear that, Weasel. Pounding on the door. So you just boom, boom, boom. You're pounding on the door trying to get someone to come to the door, or pounding on the door because you want to break it down?
Pounding on the door because I want to get somebody to come to the door, or at least get some kind of reaction so I know if I need to break it down.
Okay.
Is somebody in there needs help?
There is no response. I mistakenly knocked on my desk, and now the dogs are concerned.
Does the lady that I see react at all to the knocking?
She does not react in the slightest.
I know I said I wanted to avoid something destructive, but it may be time for such a thing. Reginald?
I think I got just the thing, and I want to use my mates. Can I see if I can break down the door? Woo!
Yeah. I want to...
excuse me, I muted myself, excuse me.
Do I hear them, like, what they're saying?
Yeah, they're not being too terribly loud, so I'm too terribly quiet, so you can hear what they're saying down there.
Okay, I'm gonna, like, run over to the edge real quick and say, wait, don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I rolled a 23.
Meta, no!
Hold on, Reginald. Let him do what he's gonna do.
There's a lady in there on the second floor. I can see her just barely. She didn't react to knocking at all. What?
She looks like she's all right.
Well, she's crying and rocking back and forth. She's got something in her hands, but I can't really see what it is.
Go find out what her problem is and find a way for us to get in there with you.
All right, but to be clear, you're giving me permission to practice my trade.
You're gonna do it either way.
Oh, you're right. You know me too well.
If you can't find your way in, I got the key right here.
Yes. I will give you a signal if I can't find a way in, I promise.
What's the signal?
I'll tell you to use your key.
That's a good signal. I like that signal.
Yes, I'm glad. I'm going to go away now. I'm going to see if I can do what I do. And then I walk back over to the window and see if I can get it open.
Okay.
So,
So in what way do you try to get it open?
well, first I want to see if I can, like if it opens at all without it being broken.
So you're gonna give it a jiggle?
Oh yeah, I'll give it a little jiggle.
Okay, so you give it a little jiggle, and it does seem to be locked from the inside, this window.
How so?
Whenever you pull the window forward, so it's a round window with a hinge on the top. When you try to pull at the window, a little gap forms between the bottom of the window and the wall that it's resting against, and you can see a latch on the inside. Pretty beefy looking little metal latch on the inside that you feel like maybe, just maybe, you could get in there and fiddle with it. You are a thief after all.
Yeah, I was about to say I've got thieves' tools.
Yeah. I got thieves' tool. It's a brick with a note attached to it.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to that with it.
Roll. What is a dexterity lock picking?
I think it's sleight of hand.
Let's roll a sleight of hand.
Let's find out. That is the good old not natural 20.
Yes. You. So you. What do you read? Give me the visuals. How are you pulling this off?
Yeah,
but you do succeed.
I want to say, like, Durman is, you know how cats do the thing when they're hunting, where they're really focused.
Sure.
And his eyes are like just wide. He's like being very cautious, like pulling the thing, because he's like just keeping his eyes on this woman, and like as he clicks it, like the ear that's visible kind of twitches.
Okay.
And like he's just like pulling it, and he's pulling the window forward as much as he can, and he's like just kind of fiddling with his tools and trying to get it open. And as soon as it clicks, like he just kind of freezes for a second to watch the lady to see if she reacts at all.
Yes, and with a roll of a unnatural 20, you barely make a sound doing it. Even someone who was not sobbing to themselves might not have noticed you do this.
Cool. I'm gonna open it and then walk back to the edge and kind of whisper down, "Guys, I got it open. I got a window open."
Oh, but I was going to use the key.
We'll be right up.
Very good.
Can you see what our problem is?
I will try to ask while you guys are getting up here. I promise.
All right.
Come on, Reginald. I've got an idea. I want to lace my fingers together in a step on my hands sort of gesture and
Okay.
try and boost Reginald up.
Sounds like a plan. Roll. Let's do a Reginald first of all. Do you going to attempt to do this?
Very much so. Like I have like the look in my eye, like this is the best plan ever, and I was made for this.
Okay. Roll a strength check, Bryce, and then Reginald, if you intend to try to help yourself up when you get up there, roll with advantage because you're getting help.
Woohoo.
Would I also make this an athletics thing?
Yeah, I guess this would be athletics. Yes, athletics is strength, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
athletics check.
Alright.
That's a big old 21.
That's a big old 9.
All right, so Bryce, you would just roll with advantage because you're the one performing most of the action here. So
Then that's a 19.
there you go. You successfully lift Reginald high enough to where he can get his chest onto the awning that you guys are climbing up to and clamber his way up there.
So is
All
it
right,
a
big
graceful
fella, hoist
move
me
or
up.
is it more of a clambering?
We'll call it a clambering. You're a heavy
You know,
boy,
like
right?
when a seal pops up out of the water at SeaWorld and kind of flops onto the concrete?
Oh yeah,
A
totally.
little bit
Okay.
more graceful than
It's
that.
like 25% of that.
Where we go. All right, so I want to maneuver back around. Like, Moldraker, get with your hand. I want to reach down for him.
All right.
I'm gonna reach up.
Repeat the same process, but now with Josh rolling.
Hey.
Oh wait, so I don't roll?
No,
Okay.
we'll keep it interesting.
Wait. But I wouldn't get advantage on this one because he's not helping me lift him.
Ooh, that's true.
I'm helping, like,
Yeah, he is.
grab onto
He's
stuff
helping.
and
He's helping.
That is a 15.
You're able to pull him up quite handily.
Hey.
Whee! Fly over the end.
Okay, so you're all on the awning now. As I assume Derman is heading first into the window.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, while they were doing that, that's what I was doing, just like getting in the window.
Okay.
He did say that.
Are you doing so sneakily, or you making noise,
yes.
or?
Not so much trying to. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's roll a stealth check just to see how it goes.
That's 21.
You effectively, man, for level 1ers, you guys really roll high almost all the time, except for that one time where you almost died, Josh. We never. So chat, never let us forget our misses. That's important to the Dungeon Boys. Never let us forget our misses. So Derman slinks into the window, almost undetectably, even to someone who's paying attention. But this person is not paying attention. They are facing away, still sobbing on the floor.
I'm gonna look around the room while I'm here before anything crazy happens.
Okay. Things that you see. It is a.
I'd also like the perception check while he's doing that. If you can just kind of toss that in with your description.
What are you looking? You're looking inside or outside right now, Jericho?
I'm just kind of trying to confirm all the stuff he told us before. I'm still not too trusting of Derman, so.
Okay, gotcha.
And if I may, I'd like to see if I can see anything, any other perspective on this town, like anything that we missed.
Sure. Okay, so everybody, well, Zenas, I'm about to tell you what you see in this room. Jericho, go ahead and roll that perception check for me.
17.
You confirm that Derman has truthed you. And Josh, you go ahead and roll a perception check, and I'll get to you in a moment. Derman, what you see in this room is it is a dark, now kind of haggardly furnished bedroom. It does not look well taken care of. It has not been cleaned in what looks like, several days or weeks. And even it looks as if it was cleaned, it's never cleaned very well. It is a grimy kind of place to live. You crawled through a window that was locked, but you can tell that there's a lot of things broken. The doors, barely hang on their hinges. The bed is not made. There are no lights on in the home. Thick layer of dust is hanging on everything. There's a dresser to your right. To your left is a door that leads to presumably a hallway. And in front of you is this woman on the floor clutching something, clutching some object in front of her that you can't really get a good look at from where you are. This is happening between you and this 4-post canopy bed, which I guess, is that possible for it to be 4-post and canopy? I don't know. It's canopy bed with black canopy.
Okay.
4 posts.
4 posts with the canopy, I guess.
Okay.
There are 4 posts involved with this bed. Why? Because I decree it to be so. I'd
like to hear more about this bed, please.
Yeah.
4 posts.
Great.
I would like to deal with Josh's perception check real quick if we can.
Do it.
What'd you roll?
It's a whole 11.
You do not. The fog kind of conceals anything that's not in your immediate area. You can see almost to the Blood of the Vine Tavern, which was on the right side of that square when you walk through and turn left. Out to your left, so if you're facing away from the house that you're standing on, to your right is Bildrath's Mercantile, then the town square, which is now almost completely concealed in fog, except for you can see a little bit of the Blood of the Vine Tavern pushing some light into that square. To your left, you can kind of look towards the end of the street where the town kind of fizzles out. The town does not fizzle out toward the bottom. You can see that this street that you're on, if you went down to the left away from the house, it terminates in some, looks like fairly large location. You can see some bigger buildings down there.
Okay. Can I just? It's kind of like you just elbow your person standing next to you to mold drinker. Hey, what you think's down there?
I haven't got a clue. I'd like to find out what's in here, then we can worry about what's down there. Though it does look like a much larger area than what we have here. Do we see lights and stuff on in there?
No. Or inside or down the street?
Like down the street, anywhere really.
So it's not like larger buildings like skyscrapers. You can just see kind of in the fog the silhouette of what looks to be a larger structure down there at the end of the street. You do not see much light coming from that area. No more than you see anywhere else.
How about the Blood of the Vine and the Market Tower?
We mentioned that there is light coming from the Blood of the Vine Tavern. The curtains are drawn for Bildrath's Mercantile.
Okay. Cool.
We can go
cool,
check
cool.
it out after we're done here.
Yeah, that was like a good idea.
So, you boys going in the window?
I want to check out that bed.
Forget about the bed.
I'm gonna let Derman do his thing, and I'm just gonna kind of watch from the window.
Okay.
Now.
So, Reginald, are you watching from the window or are you going in?
Can I see if I can sneaky my way in?
You can, of course, try.
I got it's a 15 plus 3 at 18.
Okay. Tell me what your passive perception is, Derman.
It be. Let me check now. Hold on, no. 16.
Okay, so you don't hear Reginald coming in either. Reginald keeps it sneaky as he comes in almost soundlessly. So now Reginald kind of walks up right behind you. The two of you are now staring at this woman who is sobbing in front of you. You know, at this point, 5 or 6 feet away.
I'm going to kind of like get closer to see if I can see what she's holding before addressing her.
Okay, there's plenty of room to the right and to the left for you to go around and maybe take a look.
I will go to the right.
Okay, you sidle around to the right, and what you can see clutched in her arms is a small, medium-sized, malformed doll. This doll does not look quite right, in that it looks like it has been broken in some way. It has seen a lot of wear. It looks like it started out as a doll, normal doll, but at this point it is a little bit, as I said earlier, haggard.
I'm gonna I assume by this time I know what's his face. Reginald is in there.
Yes, he's walked up behind you at this point.
I'm gonna look at him and kind of just point to the lady and kind of shrug. And I'm also gonna just for fun, I'm gonna do thieves' cant to him to signify be careful. But Derman is assuming he doesn't understand what that means.
Okay. Any chance you know what thieves can't, Reginald?
No, I barely have common down.
Okay, so Reginald, you see Derman do his thieves can't, but it just looks like he's doing hand gestures. So yeah, it's
I'm rolling intelligence to see if I'm figuring out anything that he's trying to say with his gestures.
You don't have to roll intelligence to know that he pointed at the woman. There's no amount of intelligence that can let you learn thieves can't in this moment.
I wasn't worried about that. Just trying to pick up the situation.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't me being sassy. I was trying to be a little more funny about it. But no, yeah. So intelligence roll, I don't think it's going to get you much more than what normally you would just be able to tell. He's pointing at this woman, and you can tell he's trying to communicate something to you with his hands, sort of. But you can tell he doesn't look like he's really hung up on you understanding it.
Definitely not.
So what do you guys do with this lady?
I'm gonna. Hello?
I'm still here.
Are you all right, madam?
Gertrude is all you hear her say. She almost does. She picks her head up and almost inclines her ear to you, but that's all you hear her say.
Who is Gertrude? I say as I look back and forth between Reginald and the window and the lady.
She moans again. Do what?
I'm just shrugging. I'm like, I don't.
She moans again. She sobs some more. She clutches the doll, and once again you hear her say, "Gertrude."
Can I see Moldrinker from the window? I can see him peering in?
Yeah, you can see him.
I look at him and I shrug, and then I use my like right hand to signify like walking over, like just with the two fingers, like, and then moving forward. And then I walk over and I like touch your shoulder
Okay.
and say, "It's going to be okay."
He's dead.
Yeah, probably.
You feel her pull away from you, not sinisterly, not particular. She pulls away from you in fear, and she says, "Please don't touch me. He's taken my Gertrude. I know it. She's been gone a week."
I pull away, gently and deliberately.
Okay.
Now that I see that things are occurring between them, I'm gonna enter the window.
Okay. Muldrinker or Jericho comes in.
Hey, who's this Gertrude?
Who? Gertruda is my daughter. She's been missing a week.
A week? Well, who took her?
I know it was the devil Strahd. I just know it.
Who is this?
What's the job?
Oh, I dare not speak ill of him. I just know he's taken my girl. He's taken Gertrude from me.
Where would he have taken her?
To his castle, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. There's no other reason she would leave.
We will. I like looking at Reginald and Jericho again. I kind of nod and say, "We will do our best to find her if we can."
If the devil Strahd has taken my girl, you will not be finding her. You are not prepared. There's three of you are no match for the devil Strahd.
Hey, why does you keep calling him the devil? He's picking on little girls and everything. How bad can he be?
She turns around and like flips her hood down, and you can see her like raggedy hair and everything, and her eyes go almost bloodshot as she stares at you and bares her teeth and says, "Because he is the devil."
Well, that just happened.
I'm going to leave now.
As you begin to go, sorry, what was that, Bryce?
If you want us to do anything about this, you're gonna need to tell us more information. Where is this castle of his?
If the fog would ever clear, you could see it. Eerily, in the moonlight, you can see it better. It's high above this very town. It looms over us like a gargoyle watching us. But I know the devil Strahd has taken my Gertruda, and there's nothing you can do to bring her back to me.
We'll be the judge of that.
Hey, I think we're gonna try at least. What's she look like?
She's a little girl. She's got brown hair like me. There are not a lot of little girls in this town. In this world, for that matter.
Yeah, where is everybody? It seems real lively around here.
I've said too much already. I can't speak to you. You're outsiders. Please be gone. If you, I've said too much already. Please leave me.
I'm gonna leave.
Yep.
As
Sneaking back out the window.
as you turn around, her psychosis returns a little bit, and she begins to sob again. She just begins to rock back and forth, holding the doll, and sob. And you can hear every now and again she says her daughter's name, Gertruda.
I like look back through the windows, and I just want to tell her real quick. If she's in there, we'll find her. We'll see if we can find where your Gertrude lives.
You can almost see her nodding as you step out the window.
Hey.
Good thing, Reginald. You got that lady's attention quite well.
It feels pretty good, but feel even better if we went and found the little girl.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, does anybody know where this castle's at?
She wasn't exactly helpful in that regard. I assume it's down the main thoroughfare.
Yes.
What now?
What
The street,
concerns me,
Reginald.
Oh, yeah.
what concerns me though, is this Strahd she keeps speaking of.
Well, I mean, how tough can he be? He's picking on little girls.
I've got a bad feeling about all of this, but we have more people here to talk to. Let's go find out what else we can from these people.
So to the inn or to the shop?
Let's go to the shop. I need to stock up on bolts for my crossbow.
Very well, lead the way.
I'm a jaunt on down off this roof.
All right.
Ski bop over to the shop.
You guys successfully hop off. Bryce, let me give you some kudos to both everybody. All your voices are spot on. But Bryce is being, I feel like, one of the. I feel like you took a chance with that voice, being able to continue doing it. So well done.
I have been watching the crap out of this Australian YouTuber. I'm starting to pick up on it a little bit. I hope.
Okay. Oh, I think I just gave myself the hiccups. All right, you guys hop off the roof. To your right.
DM with hiccups. There's
Yeah.
no word thing.
Yeah. To the right is Bildrath's Mercantile. It is not.
So does Bryce need to roll to hop off the roof or to ski bop to the mercantile?
No, I think we'll just say you guys go ahead and hop off the roof. You're level 1, not level 0.
Yeah, what a loser.
And granted, it wasn't the roof. It was you're now on the awning, right? So you're only hopping down 10 feet at the most. You'll be okay.
I just want to roll to ski bop somewhere.
Unless any of your characters have weak knees, then we need to talk.
Oh, yeah, that's in my backstory right there. Double knee replacement, motorcycle accident. Yep.
Poor Reginald. All right, you guys hop down. To your right is Bildrath's Mercantile, the door of which is not 40 feet away from you at this point as you walk down the street. Directly in front of you, across the main square, is that same building that you saw, the Blood of the Vine Tavern.
I'm sticking with going to the mercantile. I'm going to the shop.
Okay. Jericho steps out in front and heads towards Bildrath's Mercantile.
I'm just gonna post up on the outside of the shop when we get there.
Okay. So to re-describe that again, the sparse light from this building spills out from behind drawn heavy curtains. A sign over the door, creaking on its hinges, reads Bildrath's Mercantile. So who all's going in?
I'm gonna stay outside in the street, and I want to see if I can scan around, see if I can find any signs of where this castle is.
Okay.
I'm not actually walking around anywhere. I'm just kind of peering off in the distance, see if I see anything.
Okay. Roll that perception check for me.
Hey. No, sir. That is a 6.
Okay. The fog is too great for you to see much farther than you have already. Jericho, do you walk into the door, or do you knock, or what do you do?
I'd prefer to open the door before I walk into it. Yeah, I want to walk in and kind of address them as I come in if I see that they're in the room.
Okay, you walk in and you see. Let's see. Make sure I describe this man properly.
And can you what's the inventory thing that he has, just so I can go ahead and bring it up while you're describing?
Yeah, it is the adventuring gear table from the player's handbook.
Okay.
So you walk in, you see kind of a short, squattier man, balding. Everyone here, the woman that you saw was very pale. This man also very pale. His eyes are sunken back into his skull. He seems pretty worse for the wear, but he's a squatty guy, balding, with a little bit of hair coming around the backside of his skull. And he doesn't look particularly wealthy. He's not clad in extremely nice vestments. His clothes are also kind of worn and tattered and old. Not tattered like he's been roaming the desert, but he don't have any new threads on. This is his same wardrobe that he likely wears every day. He is standing behind the counter and he says, "Oh, hello. Welcome to Bildrath's Mercantile, creature."
Good evening. Good evening. I suppose it's evening, It's hard to tell what time of day it is in all this gloom.
Yeah, it's quite foggy around here all the time.
I came to buy some crossbow bolts. You got any?
Crossbow bolts, you say? Excuse me, I sometimes fall into different accents. Excuse me. Crossbow bolt. Crossbow bolt. Let me check the catalog. Let me check my list of things here. Would they be under bolt? Would they? This is just me looking now. Excuse me.
I think it's under bolts. I think you just passed it. I see ball bearings in there. Could you get me an order of those?
You would like bag of ball bearings?
Yes, please.
I sell them for 1,000 ball bearings in a bag. That will be 6 gold pieces for that.
Continuing with the crossbow bolts. Maybe I can buy them as a set.
In the crossbow bolts, there will be 10 gold pieces for 20.
How about all of them together for 12?
Absolutely not.
Come
You
on,
are
that's
an...
not that much of a markdown.
Let me explain something to you, creature. Not only are you an outsider to our town of Barovia, you do not belong here. I should not be selling you anything anyway, but I am giving you a deal on these. I will not be dealing any further with you. It will be 6 gold pieces for your ball bearings and 10 gold pieces for your crossbow bolts, or you may leave my shop and leave my town for that matter.
It doesn't seem like you have a lot of business coming in here. You think you could at least drop it down to an even 15 as a sign of good faith?
Listen to me, creature. Actually, you know what? Periwimple, come out here. And as he mentions that, a very, very strapping, veiny young man walks out of the back of the shop. Like, this guy is wearing some leather armor that's strapped to him. You can see his muscles rippling under the leather armor. This is a barbarian of barbarians standing before you. He is just huge. He is intimidating to look at. And he steps out there and he says, "What do you want, Bildreth?" "This customer does not want to pay our prices, Periwimple. I do not know if he needs to be taught a lesson. Do you need to be taught a lesson, outsider?"
No. Your sales partner is quite convincing.
16
gold pieces.
Yes, 16 gold pieces. And you know what, actually, make it 17 for causing me trouble today.
You've already said 16.
Periwimple cracks his knuckles and leans down toward you.
Hey, fellas, could I get some help in here?
Outsider calling for help!
Dermond's. I don't know if I heard any of that.
We'll say, yeah, he calls out to you. He calls out to you. You can hear him. Dermond hears him, you hear him.
Alright, Draker, what's taking so long in that?
I'm being robbed by this man here.
I am not robbing you. I am only taking what I deserve for you causing trouble for me and Periwimple. You are outsiders. We are not supposed to deal with outsiders. You do not belong in Barovia. You would be charged a premium for coming to my shop.
And what trouble is there in serving outsiders?
It doesn't matter. I don't have to explain myself to you, outsider. That is what I'm trying to tell you. It is either 17 gold pieces or Periwimple will rip off your arms and bathe in your blood.
Hey, number one, I like my arms. I want to keep those. But number two, we was asked to be here because there was a need of we was needed here because somebody was in trouble.
I can assure you, whatever needs we have, you cannot help with them.
Let's see about that. Can I roll an intimidation check?
You can.
I'm doing it.
Oh,
I'm
please
doing
don't
it.
go badly.
I gotta get my.
18.
Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. So, let's see how this goes.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta add the proficiency.
Oh Lord. And we decided this is
+2.
wisdom or charisma.
All right, charisma, I think.
Yeah, it's a
Wouldn't
great.
that be against your constitution?
No, I don't think so. I get what you're saying. So Reginald, give me some flavor. How do you intimidate?
Oh, it's this the whole arms crossed. He already threatened the arms earlier.
Okay. So you cross your arms in front of him, and Bildrath says, "Oh, the green man wants to test us, eh, Periwinkle?" And Periwinkle responds with, me, Bildrath, I do not believe I can take on the green skin man. He might beat me in the fight. He has big arms. Bildrath is aghast. What do you mean? Well,
You know you can't take on me. Me. Look, Eddie, I've got my buddies here with me too. Now, hey, why are you trying to shake down my friend here? Just give him a fair price. We'll be on our way.
Well, I suppose it has been a while since anyone has come through. I will knock off 2 gold pieces. 15 gold pieces for the lot.
Pretty sure I mentioned that price earlier. Glad you see it my way.
Maybe you did. I appreciate your business, outsider. I do have a question. What brings you to the land of Barovia?
We got a letter.
Yes, the master's daughter's sick, ill, infected with a bite of some kind, I believe.
The
Who
master's
has the letter?
I have the letter.
Hey,
the master's daughter. Who is?
Or
Who,
beloved.
which is it? The beloved or the daughter? Who is it? Who are we
Beloved.
speaking of?
Her name is Irene Kolyana. You heard of her?
Irina. Of course I have heard of her. That is the burgomaster's daughter. That is the leader of our town. That is his daughter, Irina.
We are here to help him.
I
He
know
sent
her.
us a letter.
Help her.
Via some
Help her.
courier named Oracle.
Origal. Say that name for me again.
Oracle, I think it was. That's what the tavern keeper said.
What does he look like?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You
So
should be happy I remember his name.
yeah, I do. So to help you out with that, Aragal, he was arrayed in, think gypsy. Think the way a gypsy you would see on television, like people say, "Oh,
I
we're
was gonna say
gypsies."
flamboyant. I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was.
Kind of a gypsy type look. He was pretty flamboyant. His robes were billowing and flowing and colorful and things.
then we describe it in that manner.
Okay. Would you mind doing that for me while I look something up?
He was a tall, kind of lanky fellow with, he was dressed kind of funny. Sort of flamboyant, if you will. Real colorful.
Oh,
Certainly not like someone from around here.
he is.
And certainly not a quiet type. Dropped a whole bag of gold right on the counter and bought everyone drinks.
It is. He is a Vistani. This must be a Vistani who has asked you to come here.
What now?
A Vistani. They are a people. They are a roaming, joyous people. And they have asked you to come here. Well, I have some bad news for you.
And what is that?
Do you want to know, or would you rather go along in your ignorance?
I'd
You've
kind of
asked.
like to know whatever bad news it is.
I
I
will.
mean, I
That's it,
enjoy a
those.
good ignorance as much as anyone else. But I think we kind of need to know what's going on. We got things to do around here.
I will say this. There are many strangers have been drawn to the land of Barovia, and none of them have left it alive.
Have any of them left it dead?
It depends. I guess how. It depends on what you believe happens after death, I suppose.
I see. There's a lot of grey area between dead and alive these days.
Oh, there is. I can attest. There is.
Well,
Indeed.
I appreciate your recently turned friendly manner and for the kind warning, but I think we're going to continue on with this.
Creature, be not confused. I am not your friend.
Oh, I had no misconceptions about that. Reginald, Dermot, you have something to say?
No, I was just going to say that I think it's time we leave.
I agree. Reginald, anything else?
No, I think we's good. I don't think we need to buy nothing else from here, that's for sure.
No. Alright. Well, thank you. Sir, what was your name again?
Bildrath. And this is Periwimple.
Nice to meet you both.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
I want to give Periwimple like the firm handshake, like it's nice to meet you, like genuinely, like it's nice to meet you.
He does not reciprocate. You reach out your hand, he does not take his arms from being uncrossed. He almost kind of steps back from you a little bit. Not necessarily in fear, but in almost a distancing kind of way.
Okay, just as Reginald, could I interpret that as fear and just be totally okay with that?
No, that's up to you.
Hey.
I pat Reginald on the shoulder and walk out.
Okay.
I'm also going to leave.
Good luck, strangers, is the last thing you hear as you leave Bildrath's Mercantile.
Hey fellas, what do you think he was on about?
I don't quite know. I do know if I were a lesser man, I might burn his establishment to the ground. I like.
Lord, lesser man.
In saying that, though, Dermot is like smirking at Moldrinker.
I am looking anywhere but you.
Well, that's fine.
I am oblivious to the whole thing, thinking that I walked out of there as like the champion of the whole situation.
Nicely done.
Reginald, I have to thank you for backing me up in there. I only saved one goal, but it was better than paying an extra two to that. I don't even know what to call him at this point.
It's all good. I'm just glad he didn't have the last laugh on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly. Everyone here seems to be all doom and gloom. Not a single person has thought we're gonna even survive in this town.
Yeah, not a lot of hope around here.
Yes.
All right, maybe that's all thing. Yeah, maybe that's we're supposed to just fix this whole place up. We better start with the what was that little girl was missing though?
Yes. It is possible, though I would still like to gather some information, so perhaps we go to the inn.
Yeah.
It's the only other place I've seen here that even looks populated. I agree.
I don't know about Oakland. It seems kind of quiet to me.
Wait, say that again.
Don't know about populated. It seems kind of quiet to me.
Oh, okay, populated. I missed that word.
Hey, that's all right. Can I lead the way?
Okay, you head over to the Blood of the Vine Tavern. A single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the main square, its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood of the Vine Tavern. You guys head inside, I assume?
Yeah.
This
I'd
build...
like to perception as I'm going in the door.
Sure, perception as you... So you're looking for the contents of this building, or looking at the outside?
Just making... This town has not been friendly thus far, just making sure that I'm not going to fall through the floor, or
Okay,
no one's going to jump out at me and murder me in the face.
Sure.
But it don't really matter because I got a 7.
Purposefully, no perception check for Reginald. Inns are always a safe place, and he is invested in that.
Okay. Jericho, yeah, you don't see anything particularly sinister about this building you're walking in. You can see through the doorway that it is sparsely populated. There's almost no one in here, except the barkeep and a few patrons. The light is coming out of the doorway. The porch seems to be kind of, just a normal rickety old porch, but you're not going to like fall through or anything. I will say, upon investigation of the sign, you can see that the Blood of the Vine Tavern, the F and of seems to be painted over a letter N that was scratched out. So it used to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. Now this is the Blood of the Vine Tavern.
Spooky.
Cool facts.
Wonder what they got to eat in.
I'm going to walk over to the barkeep.
Okay. The barkeep is a pudgy little man, and he is tending the bar. As you approach him, he spits in a glass, cleans it, puts it down, and spits in another, and continues cleaning it as you approach the bar. He does not speak to you as you arrive.
German thinks to himself that that's kind of gross, but he doesn't say it.
Okay.
I'm very tempted to just walk in as Reginald, be we're the health inspector here.
I'm gonna say to him, "Hello, good sir. How are you today?"
Real quick, let me respond. Yes, Weasel. This is Curse of Strahd. To answer your question.
You sly dog.
You sly weasel. I'm doing alright. What'll it be?
Well, what do you have?
We have wine. You could have a glass of wine or a pitcher of wine. That's about all.
No food or?
Oh yes, we have pork. Pork this evening.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Listen, can I ask you a few questions?
What did he say they have to eat?
Pork.
Okay, I was getting a little concerned that it was pork.
No, pork. Pork
Not
this
pork
evening.
of any make or model, just pork.
Pork.
Right? Generic pork number 3.
And Bryce, don't you ask me what flavor it is.
You know
no.
what flavor it is.
Yeah.
We all know.
So,
Fruit by the foot.
do you guys take a look around at anybody else in the bar? Are we still? We're sorry, I don't mean to take you away from this interesting bartender.
Sure, I'll roll perception to look around.
No, you
Oh,
don't.
no,
Yeah,
now
sure.
I'm just thinking about bacon by the foot and why nobody's ever come up with this before.
Okay. Seeing that you are still deciding, I guess, what it is you're going to do with the barkeep, he goes back to cleaning glasses and waits for your directive as you look around. I won't require a roll for you to see who's in the bar, but if you want to see more than who's in the bar, do a roll.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
What?
It's a 15. I mean, why I asked him if I could ask him a couple of questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that. Yeah.
All right.
So,
I also did not hear that.
so you said that, and he says, like what I told you what we have to eat and drink. You can have a glass of wine, a pitcher of wine,
Well, yes,
have
but I'm not.
pork
I'm
to
not,
eat.
I'm not really interested in any of that, to be honest.
It's all we have.
Do you have information about this place, Barovia, or perhaps a man named Strahd?
Oh, not for you, sorry. We have glasses of wine, a pitcher of wine, and pork to eat.
No,
This doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
no, I don't think it is. And then I look around.
Okay. You turn and look around. There is nothing special, particularly that your perception reveals about this bar. There is a blazing fire in the hearth of this area. There's a big blazing fire, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of people enjoying it. Off in the corner, you see 3 people who are adorned in similar clothing to what Aragal was wearing whenever you saw him in the very beginning. They look to be, if Aragal was a Vistani, then it would seem that these people are also Vistani, based on what you learned from Bildrath. As well, you see a single man in the opposite corner, and he looks like this. Let me post it.
I saw Josh's thing. I thought you posted that for a second, Keith.
No, but he definitely has that same energy for sure. And I will show it to you, my darling viewers.
He looks like somebody took a Disney character and made him more realistic looking.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're looking at that, just don't look at his name yet. But you see that man as well, sitting alone, drinking a glass of wine to himself, over in a different corner.
He was drinking a good glass of wine to himself?
He is keeping to himself, but he does, he sees you. He sees you from a distance, and he invites you to join him. He says, "Oh, hello, my friends, come, join me."
Do we want to go that way?
Well, I suppose I shouldn't call you my friends. He's just talking to you at this point, because I don't know you. You're strangers in this land, but you seem interesting. Come, join me for a...
The most friendly face in here.
Come join me for a glass of wine.
I'm gonna walk over.
You're the first person what looks like they're a living person in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll follow Jericho.
As you guys walk over, he says, Arik, how about a pitcher of wine for our table? And Arik, the bartender, grabs a pitcher of wine from underneath, takes 3 of the glasses that he just cleaned, and brings them over to your table as you sit down.
So it was Argol?
What was Argal?
No, this guy, Nerdy, he just looks like him.
No, this guy doesn't look like Aragal. This guy is not adorned. Yeah, excuse me. This guy is not adorned like the Vistani are adorned. Also, I'm going to go ahead and reveal that because this is part of the fun of recording things. We are using a program or a website called Zencaster to record this as a podcast. But one thing that necessitates you being able to record a podcast is you have to click the record button.
My favorite button.
So
Imagine that.
either way, it is going to be perfectly possible for this to be, uploaded to our podcast. It's just it won't be quite professionally mixed like this service likes to do. So for next week, the bugs will get worked out. Everything will be okay. But just letting you Twitch viewers in on that big oopsie that I just did. Or that I did about an hour and a half ago.
Nice.
So sorry about that, everyone. You are experiencing a lesser quality podcast if you're listening to this because of me and my stupidity. All right.
Can we replay that last, as we walked over what he said to us? Because I kind of hopped over on the Zencaster thing to see how that was going.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
was quite distracted.
Yeah. So on the way over, he says, "Well, I suppose I should not call you my friends because I've never met you before, but you're strangers in this land and you seem interesting to say the least."
I reach out a hand, flash him a big smile, and I say, "My name is Dermot, a pleasure to meet you."
Okay, he grabs it and he says, "Ismark is the name. They call me Ismark the Lesser around here."
Why do they call you Lesser?
Well, because my father is greater than I.
That's fair enough, I suppose.
What? Interesting.
Is Mark, is it? How long you been here in this quaint little town?
Oh, I've lived in Barovia all my life.
You seem quite different from all the rest of the folk living around here.
Well, I just do not believe I've let the fog get to me, per se. I will say that. Where are you from, strangers?
Dang it, Keith. Do we have a from?
You know what, fellas? I'm gonna try something. We spend the next 5 minutes explaining exactly where we came from and our journey along the way.
No, you don't have to do that. But you can just tell them that you're not from here, I guess, or you can make up a place you're from.
That is official D&D recommendation.
What?
That you just say, "Oh, we do this thing."
Oh, you say we tell them where they were from?
Yeah, but I have to be from the same place as Derman, so I'll just let you take the lead on that. I'll just stick with you.
So we'll just say this: as you guys look a little bit confused, a little bit, he says, "I only ask because you are obviously not from Barovia. I am right."
Certainly not. It was a long walk here from the
Very
place we're
long
from.
walk.
Specifically-
It was way over there too.
This man here, and I point to Moldrinker, and we come from a town called Beriton. It's about a 3 days journey from here. Well, it's more of a city than a town. But our mutual line of work seems to pay the bills. We run into each other quite a bit.
3 days journey from here?
Well, give or take.
Felt like it, but it was more like a couple hours.
And you walked.
Yeah. Time just flew right by.
And you walked through the fog to get here.
Yes.
Huh.
Also, I wasn't saying that it wasn't a 3 days journey to get to the town from the inn. It was a 3 days journey to get there from Beriton.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, mister, let me ask you something. You've been here a few moments longer than we have. Have you talk about that fog and everything. Have you noticed it kind of, a little denser in some spots outside of town?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If anyone tries to travel through the fog, they die. No one has left Barovia in hundreds of years.
Well, I mean, we traveled through the fog, get right here. We still alive.
Yes. What brought you here to Barovia?
The promise of great reward for helping out a person in need.
A letter, you say?
Yeah, we asked the guy in the mercantile across the street about it. He said it was one of these folks sent it to us. I forget what he called them. The man's name was Origal. Brought us a letter.
Did he look like, and he points to the people over there, did he look like those people?
Yes.
Ah. I am sorry to say, strangers, but your generosity and kindness has led you to an evil place.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that feeling.
Does feel a bit foreboding, though, don't it?
But obviously, you are a trustworthy bunch. If only at the receipt of a letter asking for help, you immediately dropped everything and came to help. You are obviously a trustworthy bunch. Am I right in saying this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Some more than others.
Did y'all say the same thing?
Yep.
All right, that was pretty good. I'm gonna give you both an inspiration on that one. You can just take it. Take a point of inspiration for that. Y'all are playing your character as well. I have to agree with you. I believe you must be trustworthy. And another question: can you handle yourselves in a fight? Or are you prepared for anything?
I would like to think we are.
Oh, always prepared for anything. Yeah.
Then maybe it will be you. Maybe you will be the ones that will help us rid this land of the evil that has shrouded itself over us.
What do you mean exactly? Can you give us an explanation?
I do not know if I can give you a full explanation. I tell you, the Devil Strahd spies, they are everywhere. And he looks around the room. I cannot speak much.
Yeah, who's this Strahd fella you just talked about?
Oh, the Devil Strahd. He is the lord of this land.
We've heard of this fella.
He is the lord of this land, you see. He rules over us with an iron fist. Or an iron set of teeth, I should say.
Teeth.
You see, he is a vampire.
Oh, crap.
Well, that is certainly interesting.
Yes, this evil land is ruled by an evil man turned vampire. He has caused us trouble, despair, for hundreds of years, and now he is after my sister.
He seems to be after a lot of women, if all these letters are to be believed.
Not like Irina.
Your sister is Coliana.
Irina Koliana, yes. He is not after any other woman like he is after Irina. He has a special taste for her.
I pull out the letter I got from Argold, and I give it to him. I say, "This is the letter. This is why we're here."
He feels it. He looks on the back and he notices Strahd's seal. He says, "This is the seal of Strahd. You were lured here by a spy of the Devil Strahd. I am very sorry to be the bearer of this bad news."
Well, I hate to tell you this, but none of us is young women. So why was we lured here? What do you say?
Have you ever seen a cat catch a bird? Excuse me, cat-looking fellow. This is my best example I can think of. But have you ever
I'm
seen?
like looking right over at Dermot.
Have you ever?
I'm kind of like glaring at him, like just staring at him with an emotionless expression.
Have you ever seen an animal catch its prey and, before finally dealing the killing blow, play with its food?
I have seen this from time to time.
Well,
Only once in my life.
What about it?
I'm sorry to tell you again that you are the prey. You are the food. And you have been brought here to be toyed with. Because the Devil Strahd is not satisfied with destroying us piece by piece. He has got a taste for outsiders. Many have passed through. Many have died. And I don't believe the chances for you are much better.
Do you know anything about the missing girl from across the street? Gertruda? I don't know. The crazy woman sobbing all day. Was muttering about her.
Is that why Mary's crying? Oh, I had not seen Gertruda around town for almost a week. I assumed something had happened to her, but I assumed she had just died.
She said the devil took her.
It is the custom of Strahd sometime to take female consorts, but none like Irina. And I've probably said too much within earshot of his spies already, whoever they may be, wherever they may be. He has spies everywhere. We should speak less of Strahd, except for this. Irina Koliana is my sister, and he has a special taste for her. And because you seem to be capable-looking adventurers, and because I am scared to make any attempts myself, and I must remain here with my town, I confess I did not ask you over here just for stories and a glass of wine. I have a request of you.
I want to kind of like nudge the guys. Here it comes, fellas. Here it comes.
He
What's
says,
your request?
"This town is not safe. I do not know if you're able to see it from outside, but Strahd's castle, Castle Ravenloft, looms above us, hundreds of feet up, a pillar of stone, the roots of which are just behind our town. He looms overhead, always watching. He can see all. I wish for you to take Irina to the town of Vallaki, west of here. It will be quite a journey, but I wish for you to travel there and to deliver her to the town. I hear that it is better fortified against Strahd and his armies of darkness.
Well, yeah, so we just got to go and get her and take her to its other place.
Oh, that is the simple way of putting it, yes. This is what I would require of you, please.
From a vampire lord and his army of darkness.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, fellas. I think this would just be a walk in the park.
Oh yeah, Reginald. Sounds right up your alley.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so.
Do you doubt that we can do this, Molly?
I doubt that anyone can do this. How many of these vampires does he have at his disposal, would you say?
We have no count on his vampire spawn. There are some that roam the lands, but mostly you may have trouble with wolves and other monsters of his making. Sometimes he brings the dead back to life to do his bidding. Sometimes it is the animals, rats, crows, ravens, wolves that do his bidding. He has weapons all
Every
over.
time you say wolves, Reginald kind of cringes a little bit. Just, ooh.
He has spies all over. Even some of the members of our land of Barovia do his bidding as well.
You hear that, Reginald? Wolves.
Yeah, it'll be all. You know what, fellas? It'll be all right. I think I learned my lesson the first time, maybe.
Yes, I would hope so. But now, Molly, there's no reason to bring up any dark and dangerous things that may have happened to Reginald in the past.
I'm like rubbing my neck, kind of a little bit nervous.
This whole town is dark and dangerous. Why can't the two of you see that?
Well, we
This
can.
isn't some fairy tale.
Well,
But
look,
it's-
I mean, we was brought here for a reason. And we was brought together, and I mean, it's got to be destiny. It's got to be.
We were brought here by the guy trying to kill us.
That is true. But what do you want to do, Molly? Do you want to travel back through the mist? Through the fog? Issamar, what does that fog do to people who travel through it?
It
Go
kills
on.
them.
Tell us again. Yes, exactly. It kills them. What do you plan to do, Molly? Do you plan to leave? You plan to go off alone?
Doesn't seem I died on the way here. But no, I have to keep an eye on you. I'll see this through to the end. And
You-
I'll get my pay at the end too.
You can
Gosh,
believe me if
Speaking
you
of
want
which,
to or not.
do this for us,
Oh,
fellas.
too many people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Zenas.
What?
Go.
Oh.
You go.
I should hope that you do.
And Josh.
This remote
Weird.
stuff blows.
We're gonna get there. We're getting there. We're dialing it in, boys. We're dialing it in. Crap. What did I say? Oh, hey, speaking of which, what's really in it for us at the end of this thing? I mean, besides all the glory and everything.
At the end of taking Irina to Valaki,
Well, yeah.
it is the satisfaction that you have helped someone in need, and hopefully staving off a vampire lord from getting a thing that he desires, possibly extending your life a little longer as well. The farther you get from Castle Ravenloft, the more protected you may be.
Oh, then see, it's a win-win.
Well,
If we're breaking in
I
there
think
to
it'll
take
be all right.
If we're breaking in there to take some girl out anyway, might as well take whatever else he has.
You know, it is the
You can
case.
probably help me with that, Dermot.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
Irina is not at the castle.
What?
Wait, what?
Molly, did you think that she was there?
Didn't he say she was in the castle?
I didn't hear that.
Everybody gets taken to the castle, apparently.
No, Irina.
I know, bro.
Irina is not in the castle. She is safe at the burgomaster's mansion at our father's home. She is safe there. I do not know of Mary's daughter. She may truly be at the castle, but Irina is safe here for now,
Results to rescue somebody was safe already.
as safe as she can be, I suppose. So, will you help me? Will you take my sister to Valaki and hopefully extend her life and your own?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I suppose.
Thank
I
you.
mean, she's already safe already, though, right?
Well, safe is not a word we use here in Barovia very much. She is as safe as we can make her at the moment. But it will not last. I know the devil Strahd has been to visit her at least twice before.
Yeah. All right. Maybe he'll show up and we'll have a little tussle while he's there. Yeah. Okay. I'm in.
If there is one thing in this forsaken dark land you do not want, it's for Strahd to show up and tussle with you. I cannot be more serious about that.
Oh, I plan to avoid it at all costs. So
Oh.
where should we head from here?
I suppose so. But if he happens to show up, then we might, we might have to do something like that.
He stands up and he takes the final swigs of his wine, and he puts his money down on the table to pay his tab, and he says, "Follow me, we will go to my father's house." And he walks out of the tavern.
I follow him.
Okay, is everybody following?
Follow that cat man.
Alright. Cool.
We are going that way in a general thusward direction.
Okay. I hope everyone is having a good time so far as we make this transition. You guys hit the streets, walk back down past Bildrath's Mercantile. You walk back past Mad Mary's townhouse where she remains sobbing. I would say thanks for the bits, Mark. I really appreciate it, bud. And you're a bit leader. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
The bits, they flow.
The flowing bits. So I imagine Ismark would turn and mention something about Mad Mary. He didn't know that Gertruda was missing. He assumed that something horrible had happened, but in Barovia you do not typically go snooping into other people's business. He continues walking, and you approach the Burgomaster's mansion. A weary-looking mansion squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left swings lazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet against the walls the growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish off the walls. Great black marks tell of fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of evil omen.
Place looks real cheerful to me.
Yes.
It was once a place of cheer, I can assure you.
Hey,
No longer.
I've seen this around town. I was wanting to ask you, what's with all the scratching on the walls and everything?
These are the doings of Strahd, the devil Strahd's emissaries. Many times they will come to town to prey upon us, or just to toy with us, to scare us, to keep us indoors, or whenever the devil comes to feed.
So they just goes around scratching up people's houses. It's not very frightening at all.
Well, they of course are trying to get inside to the people within. Strahd's
Do they set the fires as well?
some of his followers may do this. Not everything is burned down, but some of them wield fire, torches, those type of things.
I see.
Anyway.
Shall we just go?
So yeah, you guys walk up to the house. Do you guys do anything as you walk through, or anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
You said it was like the weeds and grass and stuff are kind of like matted down and stuff.
Yeah, around the edges of the house.
So does it look like that's just like, people are constantly walking that way? Is it look like it's being patrolled, or look like it's being like just trampled by things coming to the side of the house to try to like get in? Like,
Gotcha. So roll a perception if you want to discern that for yourself, or you're welcome to ask Ismark if you would like to inquire.
18.
Yeah, so they look like these are trampled down by people coming to attack. Like you see wolf prints and paw prints and some human footprints that are trampling through there. But the footprints, based on that roll, we'll say the footprints, they almost look like shambling footprints. They look like footprints made by someone who is not walking with a healthy gait.
Can I point it out to these other fine fellows?
Of course you can. Actually, if you'd like to point that out while I go get another little bit of water, please. I'll be back.
Acquire your hydration fluid. Alright, fellas.
Yes.
Take a look at these tracks here. Something don't quite add up. I'm not always one to put two and two together, but something looks like it's just shambling through around here.
Looks like a wounded animal or a wounded person.
Yes.
Yeah, but is
This
it a
mark
lot
did-
of them?
This mark did mention the dead. So Strahd would bring them back.
Ismark
Yeah,
is
but I mean, if they's already passed, how tough can they be?
Undead are rumored to be quite tough, I would assume.
their claws were hard enough to scratch and claw into this wood.
Yes.
I feel like Ismark's just standing there like a NPC with
Yeah,
no,
he is. He's
no player direction.
he's got the dots over his head like an iPhone. What was said while I was gone?
Everything. We solved the riddle.
Okay, that's interesting because you weren't
They
posed
can't
one.
be that tough because they're already dead.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so Ismark knocks on the door. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Irina, open the door. It is Ismark. I have brought us. He turns to you and then turns back to the door. New friends, I suppose.
Reginald is like nodding, like emphatically.
From inside the door, you hear the unbarring of the door. You can hear her lifting a big bar from behind the door and setting it on the ground and undoing several locks and things and getting this door prepared to open. And then the door opens, and you see the interior of the mansion is well furnished, yet the fixtures show signs of great wear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster is in a side drawing room on the floor, lying in a simple wooden coffin, surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay. Most importantly, you see Irina Kolyana standing in front of you. Irina is a woman. She has kind of auburny hair. It is long down to probably her waist. She has darker skin than what is his name? Ismark. She has darker skin than Ismark, and she is standing before you in her... She kind of has a little bit of what looks like armor on. Not like plate armor or anything, but a little bit of metal armor on, and she also is strapped with a sword that she is wearing. And she is striking. Quite beautiful, this woman, if that floats your boat. Ismark says, thank you, Irina, for letting us in. These are my new friends, and forgive me, I suppose I don't know your names yet.
German.
My name is Jericho.
Oh, so Reginald.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, all three of you. If you are a friend of Ismark's, you are a friend of mine and a friend of Barovia.
That is good to know. We hear you're having some troubles with a potential suitor, to put it lightly.
Oh, yes. The devil Strahd, he has set his sights upon me. And she reaches up and kind of paws at her neck, as if to cover up something.
I would like to perception check on That and also the number of locks on the door we just entered.
Okay. Also, I don't know. I may have glossed over in the description, but it is easy to see that to your right there is a drawing room, and there is a dead man lying in a coffin surrounded by wilting flowers. Just to remind you, just
Okay.
in case that was glossed over.
You said he was in the coffin. I did not know if he was dead or if that was what he was sleeping in or what.
No, yeah, there's a dead man in a coffin. There's a smell, a faint odor of decay.
Yeah,
In
it's
this
got
room.
the odor of decay part. I thought it was the flowers because you just described the flowers with it.
No, yeah, this is a dead man in a coffin. So roll that perception check for me, Bryce.
Another 17.
Nicely done.
Cool.
So most importantly, you're looking for the number of locks on the door.
There was many locks that were unlocked. It seemed like.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 big deadbolts on the back side of this door, as well as 2 big iron cradles where a very large plank of wood also sits to bar this door.
You said
There
was
are
holy
high
symbols.
number of locks.
Yes.
You said there were holy symbols everywhere. Is there anything like on the door, like some kind of? Do I need to make an Arcana check to see if there's any type of warding?
You can, I suppose.
If you don't mind, I'd like to.
Sure. Yeah, check it out.
I
I'm
gotta
gonna,
find my thing. Yeah,
like-
go ahead.
Point at the body
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of walk into that room.
Okay.
Got a 5.
So 5 on your Arcana check, you cannot detect any sort of magical spells being cast on this door. There seems to be nothing magical about it. The number of locks on the door is, as I said, every room that you can see into from here, you can see a large holy symbol hanging on the wall.
Hey, Dermot, what you got there?
Well, I don't quite have anything, but there's a dead man in this room.
Irina turns to you and she walks into the room as well, and she says, that is my father, Colian. Strahd, the devil Strahd, has become quite serious about trying to, as you say, be a suitor of mine. And he has sent his wolves and other terrible creatures night after night after night for weeks. And my father couldn't stand it anymore. His heart couldn't take it. And he died 3 days ago.
So he just falls over.
Yes, the stress of the attacks was too much. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't. His constitution, his bodily constitution, could not stand up to it, and he passed on.
Constitution roll was not good enough.
Yeah, I realized that after I said the word constitution.
I'm sorry for your loss, man.
Thank you. Jericho, was it?
Yes.
Thank you, Jericho.
Miss, you says night after night, but I mean, with all the fog and the foul weather around here, is it about to be night time itself? It's hard to tell around here. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, it will soon be night. If you think it's dark out now, wait until the night comes. But interestingly enough, after Father passed on, the attack stopped. There hasn't been another night attack since.
I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do?
I don't know.
I feel like it's probably an insight check.
No, I'm gonna investigate this corpse, and I hope I roll real well.
Okay.
That is not a real dead body.
Do it, CSI D&D.
There has been another murder.
Oh, baby, that's a 15.
Okay, and you're rolling what again?
Investigation.
And I'd be willing
You
to
looking
bet
for
he's
anything
not even
specific?
your father.
I want to check and see, because my thinking is obviously, I don't know how much information is around about vampires, but I think they're a pretty common thing in the world of D&D. So I feel like it's it's commonly known that vampires produce other vampires, and they have like thralls and such, very dangerous creatures. So
Yeah, he
Derman's
even-
thinking, like, he's looking at this situation as like, okay, yeah, he died, but also the attack stopped when he died.
Yeah.
So probably what happened was he was like, hey, you know what? It's just not worth it. I'm gonna make a deal with Strahd. And so he's checking to see if that is actually what happened and if this guy is potentially going to resurrect himself.
Interesting. I like it. Interesting.
Mm.
You investigate his body, but so what are you're looking for a pulse? You're looking for a hole in his neck, or
Yeah, just signs that
Signs
like,
of unlife.
yeah,
Okay.
signs of unlife that he like did not that he did not like die of natural causes, or like yeah, like
Sure.
bites or whatever stands out.
so as you go down to touch him, which I assume you would likely do for this, Irina says, "Well, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
He seems suspicious.
Trust me, man. He's the professional. It'll be all right.
Yes, thank you, Reginald. It seems suspicious to me that your father's death should stop the nightly attacks. Is there any chance that he may have switched sides, so to speak?
I don't believe so. He's dead there. Check him. If it was your mind is eased, check him. And you're able to check him and feel him. This body is cold to the touch. There's no breath. There's no pulse. There's no holes in his neck. There's none of the telltale tropic signs of someone being turned into a vampire thrall. He doesn't move when you give him a stimulus or anything like that. He seems to your investigation to be dead as a doornail.
Now I'm going.
Hey, could I do a checkaroo before we move too far?
Check what do you wish to check, sir?
I want to do a perception check with all my perceptiveness powers.
Okay.
There's holy symbols like all over this place, and normally that would be a thing you'd find a lot on like a casket, a coffin, whatever. Is there anything on that casket?
As far as a holy symbol?
I'd like
Right.
to make a quick jab at Derman before we move on with that.
No,
Leave
doesn't.
the poor girl's father alone. She's just lost him. She said 3 days ago, and you're in here prodding his dead body. Have you no shame?
I got a 20, but not natural.
Let's let this conversation play out, and I'll tell you.
I'm done
Okay.
with my bit.
Okay.
Honestly, Molly, it seems like this is something that you would be doing.
Yeah, I
Your
have my
confidence,
concerns,
Reginald.
but still, the dead's the
Oh.
dead. I suppose around here, I suppose it couldn't hurt to check.
Yes.
Fine, carry on, do what you
Yes,
do.
exactly, Molly. Thank
So
you.
they're going on and on. I'm like looking around and like kind of eyeballing that casket, like just getting a bead on it.
Okay, there are no holy symbols, but Irina is catching on to all of your suspicion over this, and she says, "I can assure you my father is dead, and he would never switch sides, as you say, and give me over to the Devil Strahd. Dare I say he wouldn't have to. If the Devil Strahd wanted me to take me by force, he could, and he would."
Then why doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably back to
Seems
that
like-
cat with the bird analogy from earlier, eh?
Ismark nods. He's like, "Yeah, probably." he's
I
like,
side-eyed both of them.
yeah, he doesn't not he kind of gives a contemplative nod, or contemplative, however you pronounce that. Irina says, so Ismark, why have you brought these creatures, I guess, to our home? And Ismark says, "Well, Irina, I have made the decision that is certainly after the death of father, that you must be taken far away from here. And I have enlisted these men. They have agreed to serve me in this way and serve you in this way. They will take you to Vallaki. I hear it is far more fortified against the armies of darkness that Strahd controls, and I would that you would go with him. And Irina responds, Ismark, I will go, but not before Father is buried. And you know this. You understand that I can't leave until he's been buried. But no one's been...
Their own dead.
What was that?
Nothing?
I will not be leaving here until my father is put in the ground. But no one has been brave enough to help you take his body to the church. So, fellows, if you wish for me to accompany you to Vallaki, you shall have to help me bury my father.
Did you say nobody was brave enough?
No one.
That'll be...
Reginald's like standing up like a little bit taller.
Huh.
Reginald, get one into the box. Damn, and find a shovel.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's perfect.
She says, be careful with him. We must travel to the church. Ismark also, he steps over to the box as well and carries it. He says, Irina, I understand. I understand what you're doing here, and I agree, we must bury Father. But I pray that this does not hold up your journey too long. There's no time to lose. I know the Devil Strahd has been here twice to visit you, and I know there is nothing you can do to combat him. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not mad at you, but we must get you away from here. If he ever returns, I doubt he will leave willingly again. She
During
says,
this whole conversation, Reginald is like looking for a good like way to like grab hold of this thing, like on the handles, like yeah.
there are no handles, so you'll just have to kind of grab it at an end.
I'm doing it.
So everybody kind of picks up and pall bearers this box full of a dead man.
In the form of that new meme that's so popular.
Hey.
It's time for the meme review segment. That's pretty funny.
Have you got a lid for this box?
Yeah, before you pick it up, she does point over to the lid of the coffin over on the side of the room, and you can... As you go and grab the lid, she gathers up all the flowers that are wilted and almost dead, and she spreads them out inside the casket before you put the lid on.
Lid says Tupperware on top.
And then on the top of the lid, Reginald, you
Oh,
see etched in a holy symbol on the front facing of the coffin. Dun dun dun. Wait, I assume
Now
that...
the dead guy inside's really in trouble.
Well, yeah, no, I assume that would put you at ease. I thought you were saying, like, oh, if this coffin doesn't have a holy symbol on it, then he's a vampire and he can't be in a coffin with a holy symbol on it. So I thought...
Right, but it would also imply that there's somebody else at play.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so you guys are carrying the coffin then, right?
I did the dun 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 as a joke. I am at ease by this whole
Okay.
symbology.
Good.
I am eased at myself of the thing.
Very, very good. Perfect. Okay, so it's
scoop
coffin
in the
time.
box.
You what?
I scoop in it.
Okay, so you scoop up the
It has been
box.
scooped.
I'm gonna get the other end. Am I getting the head or the foot of this thing?
I think Keith said we're pallbearing it because Ismark is helping.
So yeah, two
Okay,
at
that'll
the
work.
feet, two at the head. Let's say Jericho and Reginald are at the head of the coffin, the wide part, and then Derman and Ismark are at the feet.
That'll work.
Boogie.
And you're traveling. Ismark and Derman are actually in front. You're going feet first down the street. You guys leave the Burgomaster's mansion. Irina closes the door behind you, and she remains at the mansion, saying that she will be there upon your return. No, she's going with you. Excuse me. You're going to bury her father. She's going with you. So she's walking behind you as you do that. You guys head out of there and walk down the street. Ismark walks you out of the gate and says, the church is directly down the street. It is just past the inn, and we will be there to bury my father.
Hey, Reginald, wouldn't it be ironic if when we get to this graveyard, it's all bright and sunny, even though the rest of the town is all gloomy, like a normal graveyard?
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. You know what? It's just gonna be grand when we get there. There's gonna be a picnic and everything. Truthfully, though, it's probably just gonna suck like the rest of it.
Oh, probably. Ismark, are we going to a graveyard, or is this going in some kind of crypt?
It will be going to a graveyard, but I do need to warn you that once we get to the gate of the church, I will ask that the three of you take the coffin in and finish the work once you talk to the priest. You can come get us after you deal with the priest. There is some things going on at the church that I do not want. I want to keep Irina safe from as well.
I want to kind of like look over at Jericho and kind of like do the, hey, what's up with this kind of head nod towards him.
Yeah,
Towards
I'm
Ismark.
going to respondingly nod.
Okay.
I
So
don't
you,
really know what he meant by the nod, I guess. Just gonna kind of nod back that I understand that it's kind of odd what we're doing.
gotcha. All right. So you guys continue down the street, and you make it to the church. Which actually there's no gate on the front of the church. So you guys make it to the front steps of the church, and Ismark, you guys put down the coffin for a second, and Ismark says, "Well, my new friends, please go inside, talk to the priest for me, and we will have a funeral for my father if he agrees to perform it. The priest has some things going on. Suffice it to say, it is not my place to talk to you about his problems, but please go in, discuss with him. I will wait outside with Irina, because there are some things going on in the church that I do not want her to be a part of, as you can understand. So please, if you do not mind. Actually, you know what? Why don't you just go in, talk to the priest. We will keep the casket here outside. We will wait for your return. How about that?"
Whatever you want, Ismark.
What, is the priest a werewolf or something? Are you scared he'll bite?
No, I'm not scared of the priest. But please, go along.
When Dermot says that, I kind of get the little cringe a little bit. Like, fellas, with everything going on, you just got to go talk to this holy man. Maybe somebody ought to stay here and make sure they're safe out here. Yeah.
Whatever suits you is fine with me. Devin?
Alright, let's go, Molly.
Okay,
I'll head through that door.
so Reginald, you're going to stay outside with Ismark and Irina.
Yep. But I am I am on the job, like shield out and everything. Like I'm expecting like the world to come and
Okay.
try to take these people.
Cool. Ismark, he reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder as you stand in front of him, and he says, "Thank you, Reginald, my new friend. Thank you very much for staying to make sure we are safe."
It just wouldn't make no sense if you get snapped up or something and you just wanted to protect.
So we enter the church. You guys go to the door of the church. Let me read some descriptions for you. Atop a slight rise against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft that you were told about earlier stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end and is worn and weary. A bell tower rises toward the back, and a flickering light shines through holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. The heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and scarred by fire. You enter, I assume.
Yes.
The doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear a soft voice from within reciting a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up from beneath the wooden floor.
I look down and then look over at Mully.
Dermot, I'm gonna go ahead and assume you heard that.
Yes.
Should we go and get Reginald?
Well, I suppose it couldn't hurt, but he didn't seem like he wanted to come inside.
There's adventure in here for him now.
Well, that is true.
From way outside, you can barely hear. Somebody say adventure.
I kind of like that. Can we let him hear?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the selective hearing kicking in. Did not hear the inhuman wailing, but I heard that part.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll say, do you come in or what?
Yeah, but I have to kind of bow out to these two. Excuse me, I think my two lesser companions might need a little bit of Reginald with them right now.
I figured they might need some help from you. We will stay safe as possible whilst you are gone.
Yeah, just wait right here. Won't take just a moment. We'll be right back quick as rain.
Wonderful.
I rush in. I'm looking for these two.
Okay, you find them immediately.
Did you? Somebody say adventure, right?
Oh yes, Reginald. Some inhuman wailing coming from beneath the floorboards again.
Well, all right now we're talking. Now, how we get down below the floorboard? Wait a minute, I thought we were supposed to be talking to some kind of priest.
We
Yes.
haven't found him yet.
So, just to reiterate, the doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear a soft voice from within reciting a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up from beneath the wooden floor.
Yes, I suppose the priest is the one doing the praying.
Yeah, but who's the one doing the wailing?
Well, we may figure that out in time. But I'm going to speak to this man back here. And I walk off toward the thing.
Can you fellas see in the dark?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
quite well.
I got you covered.
Excellent. Just making sure. I can as well. And now I'm gonna follow him now.
Okay, so you guys head into that open, brightly lit chapel?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys wander in there. The
I thought you said
room...
it was like down an unlit hallway or something.
So you're in an unlit hallway when you walked in.
Okay, gotcha.
And then ahead of you, at the end of that unlit hallway, it opens up to a big chapel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
A brightly lit one. I'm down with that.
yeah. So the chapel is in shambles, with overturned and broken pews littering the dusty floor. Dozens of candles mounted in candlesticks and candelabras light every dusty corner in a fervent attempt to rid the chapel of shadows. At the far end of the church sits a cloth-scarred altar, behind which kneels a priest in soiled vestments. Next to him hangs a long, thick rope that stretches up into the bell tower.
Hello, sir.
Real quick, hold on. Let me give you some extra information here. The person you see praying is this man.
Ooh, that man. Oh.
And chat, the person that you see praying is this man. His name is Donovich, but you don't know that yet. So he is praying at the altar. From beneath the chapel floor, you hear the following as you walk through. Father, I'm starving.
Hey, fellas, did y'all just hear any of that?
No,
Yes.
not a word.
Oh, good then. Good.
So as you approach this figure who is praying in his soiled vestments, which we'll say is dirty, it's not covered in poop or anything,
I was wondering what flavor of soil.
Yeah, just pee-pee soil. No, just dirty. His voice is hoarse and weak like
It's
mine.
nasty, not nasty.
Like my voice is getting right now. And he is praying, and you hear him saying, "Morning, morning, Lord, full of glory. Morning, Lord, full of glory. Please, morning, Lord, bless us. Morning, Lord, come and be with us. Morning, Lord, please." And he's just praying, back and forth in an almost manic sort of way. That he is praying as you approach him.
Your Holiness?
You don't have to call me Your Holiness. I'm sorry. I was just offering prayers. Just offering prayers. What brings you into our church, stranger?
Originally, some of our friends were looking to bury their father, but the screaming from beneath the floor also kind of brought us in.
It was a call to adventure.
Oh, don't worry about the screaming under the floor. That's just my son. It is he who I pray for. He is the reason I'm praying night and day and night and day. That I'm praying for my son under the floorboards.
What exactly happened to him that he would be under the floorboards?
I've trapped him down there. Actually, I've had to trap him, my son, under the floorboards.
You trapped your son?
He's given me no choice. I've had to trap my son under the floorboards because he's given me no choice but to trap him.
And why is that?
How long have you been?
Kind of like tightening up on his mace a little bit.
How long have you been here, strangers?
We know enough.
What do you know of Barovia?
It's dark, depressing, like the people who live here, except like 4 people.
Yeah, not a whole lot happening around here. It just seems like it's all either going to happen later or it's happened before, but I don't know. Something's peculiar about this place.
Yes, well, what do you know about the lord of our land?
We know he is a vampire.
Then you know all you need to know about Doru. He's that's my son Doru, and I'm Donovich, his father, and the priest of Barovia. And there was a wizard that came through, I guess, over a year ago now, and he convinced several people to go and try to fight the devil Strahd. But of course, like all the others, he died. And my son Doru was one of those who went with him to try to fight the devil Strahd and end this evil over our land and bring the Morning Lord back to its full glory. But he did return, unlike the wizard, but he returned as a vampire spawn of the devil Strahd. So I've trapped him below in the floorboards, or under the floorboards, in the undercroft of this church, praying. I pray day and night, night and day and night, that the Morning Lord will show me how to cure my son without him. Well, you know.
Yes.
See. Well, Father Donovich, it's nice to meet you and all, but we've come here to accomplish something for our friends.
A funeral, you say? Yes. Who's perished?
I believe it was the burglar himself.
In the middle of this statement, you hear from underneath the floorboards, "Oh, who's that I hear above me?" And there's just a look of terror on, Donovich's face as he tries to continue talking to you.
I couldn't understand. Like, are we not supposed to be able to understand him? Or...
Oh, excuse me, though. He's shouting, "Father, who is that I hear above me?" Sorry.
Fellas, I think that's probably the most charismatic person we've met in this town yet, and he's locked up in the basement.
I think it is best that he stays that way, Reginald. Yes, the lord of this town, I forget his name, but he is the one who has perished, and we would like you to perform funeral rites for him.
You're saying that the burgomaster, Collian, he is...
Yes.
He's passed on.
It seems so. Some 3 days or so passed.
And what of Irina?
She's alive and
She
well.
seems to be all right.
What will become of her? What is to be done with her?
That's between her and her family. We've just come here to facilitate a funeral, if you don't mind.
Well,
Yeah, you got an open grave round here somewhere we can just plant this fella and we can be on our way?
Yes, I suppose we could do a funeral for the burgomaster. We can dig a grave for him in the back and put him in the ground, and I can say a quick prayer over him, and hopefully speed his journey on to wherever the great beyond might be. Hopefully the morning Lord will guide him to the light. But yes, we can bring him through and bury him. Yes, we can do that.
Excellent.
I suppose go and get him, and I will await you here in the chapel.
Very well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
I'm gonna start heading that way.
Okay. Sorry, I was taking a big sip of water. Well, big sip. I'm trying to take small sips, but
big sip.
me throat getting dry. I don't know how people do like this DMing stuff for a long time. So
Jericho's rasping voice is kind of grating on my throat.
yeah. So you guys go out and grab the body, and Ismark and Irina kind of both in turn say, so he will do the funeral for our father.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it seems to be.
Might I ask why the two of you were so against going in the church?
Well, everyone knows that Donovich's son, Doru, he was lured off about a year ago with a wizard who tried to do battle with the devil Strahd, and the wizard did not return, but Doru did, but only as a vampire. And everyone knows he's trapped underneath the church's floor. That's why no one goes into the church anymore. That's why everything is destroyed. That's why Donovich is insane. Crazy.
I see.
And you can understand why, if I fear for Irina's safe and well-being, I would not take her into a place where a vampire may live, or at any time escape.
Do you know of any possible way to fix his ailment?
No. Well, I do not. If I knew of a way to turn the vampire into not being a vampire anymore, we might have a chance against the devil. But I know of no other way outside of freeing them from their earthly body to turn them from being that is to kill them, not to be confused with any other method, turn a vampire into not being a vampire anymore.
Then somebody might want to take that step. I hate for the lad to be rotting down there in his own undead body for the rest of eternity.
Would seem a shame, though, wouldn't it?
It seems if Donovich would have his way, he would keep him there forever until he dies, and no more prayers would be offered for him. I fear the morning Lord has forsaken us.
We may have to address that in the future. I don't feel right about it.
Hey, fellas, it kind of occurs to me that he's the only one that we know about that's actually seen this Strahd fella and come back.
That's a good point you have.
You think he might be willing to say a few things there?
If his mind isn't gone, perhaps. Dermot?
It's possible. But I think we need to be extremely careful.
What would you suggest, Ismark?
All I can say is that if you decide to go and try to speak to Doru in the undercroft of the church, myself nor Irina can accompany you. You understand?
Yes, completely.
But of course, if my town can be rid of a vampire, I would prefer it that way.
All right, it's settled. You fellas go and plant this fella in the ground and dig that hole, and I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna yell at the floor.
Okay.
That is an interesting way to. You do what you do, Reginald.
I practice it a lot, you see.
Okay, so you guys are going to go take the body then?
Dermot, do you think splitting up is a good idea at this juncture?
No, I do not. However,
Let's go.
if we could manage to get the priest out here, we might have an easier time of speaking with his son.
Perhaps.
Well, he will be burying Father outdoors. Well, all we need to do is get out back and find a place to dig a grave.
Then let's move forward with that. We'll get back to the boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound good to you? Other guy in our party?
So the plan is, I know it's getting kind of late. The plan is that y'all are like, we're all going to go dig the hole and plant the body, or we're gonna split
yeah.
the party. Okay.
I think we'll go and do that, and then we will kind of break away from the funeral. Hang on, let's do this in character. So we can break away from the funeral when the father comes to bury her father, and leave them to mourn his loss, and then we will go and see if we can find a way to speak to the boy.
Yes, I like that idea.
I like it. It's a solid plan. And nothing could go wrong with this plan.
Reginald, you have so much to learn.
Alrighty then.
Right, so we hoist the coffin, ye old coffin, and I guess start puttering around to the back of the chapel.
Okay, Ismark helps you out, and you walk around to the back side of the chapel, pass through a little gate into the graveyard behind it. Seeing you do that, Donovich meets you outside.
I just want to ask a question real quick. The gate that we walked through, is it functional? Because every other gate we've come across has been broken.
It was creaky.
Okay.
It was creaky, but it worked.
I just didn't know if the writer of the module had a thing against gates, or if like there was actually like something going on, or like what's that? So,
No, yeah, it's
I
not.
just figured I'd ask.
It's not gate. He's not gatekeeping gates.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's fine, or relatively fine. Pretty rusty. You know, same typical theme of everything being messed up. So you guys get out back, and Donovich is back there, and he leads you to a plot in the graveyard where a hole can be dug. And the hole, I assume, does everybody help dig this hole? He brings out a couple of shovels, I guess, for you all to dig this hole. Does everybody get to work on that? It can be done fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in
Okay.
there.
Shall I roll to dig?
No, we'll just deal with it. You're just digging a hole, so it takes us, it takes you guys 30 minutes or so to get a hole deep enough to bury this guy in. You guys are really good diggers. If you're only doing it in 30 minutes, but we'll just call it that. You guys are able to dig that hole, and the Donovich says, we'll ask you to lower him into the hole. And when that is done, he says, "Very well. Ismark, Irina, your father was a good man, as much as I could see," and that's the wrong voice. Ismark and Irina, your father was a good man, for as much as I could see. He dealt with this town as best as he could. So now I will offer up a prayer to the Morning Lord on his behalf. And he begins offering what?
Can I overtly wink at my compatriots at this point?
You can.
Overt winking
Okay, so I assume you guys begin to leave this event as they're doing the funeral.
Yeah.
There's a quiet shuffle happening.
Okay, so you guys head back into the chapel, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, you now find yourself back in the chapel, above where you assume Doru, Donovich's son, is held.
Are there like rafters and things in the chapel?
Above you?
Yeah.
Um,
Or not? Well, it doesn't have to be rafters, but are there like places where I could climb up and just kind of like be up above?
yeah, we'll say there's
ground?
some rafters in there.
Okay.
Some rafters about 15 feet above.
I want to, if I can, I want to take my mace and like a batter coming to bat. I want to like tap the floor like three good times.
Okay. From beneath the floor, you hear again the shrieking of Doru saying, "Father, I'm starving!"
I'm gonna look over at Molly and kind of, you know, the wink, like, okay, there he is. How we
Yeah.
proceed.
I know, it's creepy as all hell. I'm gonna perception check and see if I can find a door that looks like it would lead to a downstairs or a trap door that would lead to an equally lower region of this church.
Okay. Roll
That
it.
is a 10.
You do not see a trapdoor in this room.
Well, darn. Is there another room? Oh yeah, the room that we were in before.
There's a hallway. So it's just open to that hallway that you came in, and there are 4 rooms coming off that hallway, 2 on each side.
Alright. Would you like me to go in each room looking for a trapdoor? Or shall I
No.
just say I
I,
looked at them all?
I will, if you'd like to investigate all the rooms, starting at the bottom left room. So let's picture we are looking at this church from the top down. The north side would be the chapel that you're in. The south side would be the hallway. Huh?
Hey, go ahead.
The south side would be the hallway that you're going into, and then to the left of that are 2 rooms. You open each door. Each door seems to be a bedroom, one of which seems to have been unused for quite some time. There's a straw mattress and a bed and nothing else. The bed does not look like it has been touched in many, many moons. And then the other room on that side is also a bedroom, but this bed seems to be well used by someone possibly of Donovich's size. It has a side table with a small lamp burning on the side table. On the right side, there are 2 rooms. The top room seems to be a church office, a place where Donovich might read. There is a desk and a bookshelf. And in the bottom right corner, the bottom room is, you see, it is a dirty room that contains time and neglect have punched holes in the ceiling of this moldy room, which contains a few broken roof shingles amid puddles of water. In one corner, set into the floor, is a heavy wooden trapdoor held shut with a chain and a padlock. A young man's screams of anguish can be heard through the door.
Well, there you go.
The padlock seems more up Dermon's alley, whatever. I'm gonna go back and get him.
Okay. Do it.
Hey, Dermon, I could use your expertise down here if you don't mind.
Alright, what did you find?
It's a padlocked door heading down beneath the church. I can hear him screaming underneath. Starting to make my skin crawl.
Alright, lead the way.
I do that.
Okay.
So while they're like doing this lock extraction unlocking thing,
Okay.
can I just, I want to address the creature under the floor.
Okay. Address him.
Cool. Hey, down there under the floor. Hey, what's your name down there?
You just mostly hear screams of anguish, with the occasional cry out to his father that he's starving and hungry.
I'm tapping on the floor again with my mace. Hey, I'm talking to you. Hey,
Um, you
my goal in this is I'm trying to either one get some information by chance, or number two, distract whatever's down there from hearing anything happening at the door.
okay? Well, we will say, Reginald, you're pretty thick-headed, so we'll say
Very.
this continues for some time, and mostly what you hear is just the shrieks of agony, the sometimes addressing of the father, but never any information. He never asks like who you are, or he never really gives you any sort of usable questions or conversation or anything like that.
All right, that'll work.
Let's go to the Lock Boys.
All right.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Roll that up. Oh, baby. That's a 10.
Okay. The iron padlock does not swing open. You are not able to pick that lock with a 10. Giving you a chance, I guess, to decide if you want to try another method or continue trying the lockpicks.
Yeah,
Maybe this is a bad idea from the start.
Molly, I was going to ask you the same thing. Are you certain we want to go down there? Could we not just as easily talk to him from above?
I can hear Reginald in there trying. It doesn't sound like he's having much of a good run at it.
No?
I suppose we could try, but I don't think we're gonna get much anywhere doing that. And honestly, I don't think we're gonna get much anywhere if we go down there.
I don't
It
either.
might be best to just continue onward with what we're doing.
I suppose.
I'm gonna walk back out to Reginald.
Okay. You
I
do
will
it.
follow.
Reginald, stop the banging. I don't think this is a good idea anymore. The lock's, it's stuck. We can't get it.
So I said we just go forward and give in.
I'm starting to think this isn't a good idea in the first place. I don't know how the vampire spawn is secured down there. If he's just going to burst out and run amok as soon as we get the door open or what.
You make a compelling argument. Hey, didn't they say earlier it's getting closer towards dark time?
She said there hadn't been any attacks in the past 3 days, though with our luck I expect that's going to change soon.
I
But
think
we
you
should-
might be onto something. This hasn't
should
been
prob-
very fortuitous.
No, not in the slightest. We should probably get back out there and see how they're doing.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so you guys head
Alright.
out. You guys head out back. That was an interesting U-turn on that idea. I like it. You guys head out back. The funeral is just wrapping up. Ismark is patting the dirt on the, patting down the earth above the grave of his now buried father, and Irina is shedding a couple tears over that grave as Donovich, speaks with them briefly, and then he seems to be kind of quickly going back inside to get back to his praying over his son.
Maybe next time we should just ask.
Could be.
Perhaps. Anyway, I would like to leave this place.
As would I.
Yeah. Let's get on with this, fellas. I think there's more adventure to be had elsewhere.
Yes, Mark. Where are we going from here?
Well, my thoughts are this. I do not know if you wish to be traveling at night. You are welcome to stay at our estate with us, or you are welcome to grab a room at the Blood of the Vine. But I imagine that you may want to go ahead and spend the night here before traveling the old Svalich road at nighttime. It is never a good idea to do that as the moon starts to rise.
I see.
Fellas, isn't that the road we come in on?
Yeah. died on.
It continues through the other side of the town. Yeah, he's not mentioning you going back the other way or whatever.
Yep.
Well, I suppose the best idea would be to stay with you two.
This town's gonna drain me of coin if I don't start doing something a bit more frugal.
It is perfectly fine. We will not charge you to stay with us this evening. Your help with burying our father, as well as your offered help to take Irina to Valaki, will also be help enough, and we are grateful. We truly are.
And is we supposed to be watching after and protecting you anyway, then it all makes sense.
Barovia has not seen generosity quite like this in many moons. So again, I thank you for it. And he begins walking back towards his mansion. And they begin to kind of, I guess, Ismark turns back around to you. He says, "If there's anything else you need, Bildrath may be a miserable sod, but he does have goods that you may need for your journey, as well as if you are hungry or thirsty, you are welcome to return to the Blood of the Vine, or if you would like to explore our little town anymore, you are welcome to do so. I just advise that you be careful and do come back to our mansion before dark."
What do you say, fellas?
Bildrath seems to have a bit of a problem with us outsiders, as he calls us. Do you think you would be willing to do a bit of a milk run for us? If we give you the coin, could you purchase what we want?
I don't believe I'd have any problem with that. I would absolutely. I
like
buy
that
from.
idea.
I buy
I just
from.
want to say I like that idea.
Yeah, well done. I go to Bildrath very often, so I would be able to get whatever you need. Absolutely.
Excellent. Of course, we can wait till morning after the moon has gone back to its.
We have time this
place.
evening. We have a few more hours if you'd like to take care of this.
Oh, excellent. Hang on, I gotta see how much money I got.
As you check that, he, unless you all have anything for Irina, he says, "Irina, please, run back to the house, and stay there and wait for our return." She says, "Yes, I believe I've been outdoors far too long. I do not want to provoke the devil or his spies." And she begins to trot off towards the mansion.
I want to slide Ismark 50 gold and tell him I'll just whatever kind of healing potions or formulas or something you find. Just give me what you came with that. I'm gonna go back to the mansion with her, make sure she's all right.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so he says, "As always, Reginald, thank you for your thoughtfulness. Irina will feel much safer on her way back with her. I will grab you something for healing." And he takes your money.
Cool. Firm
dude.
smack on the shoulder.
Yep.
Thank
Give him the firm smack.
Hey,
I'm gonna do the same amount. If you could do the same for me, that'd be great.
Okay. So healing things for all of you.
Well, yes, if everyone's going in, I may as well go in as well.
Okay. Cool.
In for a penny, in for the rest of my pennies, I guess.
Ismark laughs, and as you guys, we'll assume you guys are walking through the village square. He runs off with your 150 gold coins, and you see him go inside of Bildrath's mercantile to not be seen for a few minutes. And this is where we're going to leave our show for the night. We're approaching 3 hours. I'm going to have to learn how to DM, I guess, longer. But also, we're all working boys. Well, we're not working quite as much in quarantine. Some of us working more, I guess. But here, this will be how we end. So, as he enters the store, you hear the sound of small wooden wheels rolling across damp cobbles. You trace the lonely sound to a hunched figure, bundled in rags, pushing a rickety wooden cart through the fog. and you hear the following as she approaches you. Dream pastries? I'm selling dream pastries this evening. And that is where we will leave Curse of Strahd for the evening. For podcast purposes, thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed it. You can catch us on twitch.tv/TankMediaGames, as well as if you follow me on Twitter @TankMediaGames, you will find a pinned tweet leading to our Discord server where you can see all kinds of Dungeon Boys information and things like that. So, please, for podcast purposes, remember that we love you very much.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Later.
Okay, now for non-podcast purposes, you guys good?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Cool. We
So
didn't.
the dream pastries, was the red light on?
The red light was on, baby.
Ooh.
The
Wow.
Krispy Kreme red light was on. Twitch viewers, War, thank you for that raid. I don't know if you're still here, but I thank you for that raid. Weasel, thank you for being here. Mark, thank you for donating that bit. T-Dubs, if you're still around, thank you for donating them bits. And of course, War, thank you for the raid. Like I said, Zenas, thank you for bopping in here every for a couple times. But yeah, good times, everybody. Weasel, still here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Weasel. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's
Weasel.
Yes. Good things.
the streaming D&D is pretty fun. It's not a whole lot
How
different.
about that recording, though, huh?
Yeah, well, we're still gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll still exist. It just won't sound as good.
Yeah, but you know, if we hadn't streamed, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
true. I feel like we would have noticed though if we weren't streaming.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
we probably would have been looking at Zencaster just because there's nothing else to look at.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I
Man.
definitely like the storyline development so far.
Yeah.
I did not die this time, so
Yeah.
that's always a good thing.
No combat. Pretty low pressure, kind of low pressure episode for you guys. Fairly more high pressure for me because I have to talk to you the whole time.
Yeah, the more
But
we did stuff.
To be
Go ahead.
fair, there was gonna be some combat. Like that door had it coming,
That's true.
but I was talked out of it.
The more I thought about it, the less I wanted to encounter a vampire as a level 1.
Yeah, that's true. He is down there, ready for the picking if you want. But that's the magic of. So we're doing a module. We're doing a pre-written thing. So it's not, a campaign that I wrote. So you guys want to come back here for something? You're welcome to do that. It's a little more open world than our stuff is. You guys are picking things that have been revealed to you, but also, this campaign can start a myriad of ways. We're just kind of starting the most vanilla way with our first ever module. So you guys are about to do some traveling, do some learning of things, meeting new people and stuff, and probably fighting some things next time.
I gotta say, like, the thing that's taking the most adjustment is the unusual names.
Yeah.
Now, everything else seems pretty pretty familiar, but the names, wow, it's kind of hard to get a hold of some of them.
Yeah, Irina, Kolyana, Ismark, Donovich, Doru.
I've been writing everything down that we come across.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought I'd be making more notes, but I didn't make any. I mean, you guys didn't really pick anything up or anything else. I did half expect you to try to kill that vampire, but I don't care one way or another. You guys do what you want to do.
Yeah, I'd rather not die in the beginning of the
Yeah.
story.
That's true. And narratively, I don't know of a good way to bring you back or bring new people in. Like, oh, I guess I got tricked into coming here too.
It was
Oh,
all
vampires
after we
now.
ate a dream cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have.
I've been texting Rachel throughout this, and she's very much the type of player who's like, oh, I would never do this in reality, so let me do this. So every time we come across someone new, I'm like, oh yeah, we met this person. She just immediately sends in all caps, seduce them. And so I told her about like the old lady, and I was like, before we talked to her, and I was like, well, she could be a ghost. So I don't know that that would work out very well.
I'll say this. I don't want to role play seduction between certainly my brothers or
It is not
friend.
within Dermon's character to do that.
But you can. Like, if you guys start to Jericho, if you start to feel a little sultry, I will. This old lady pushing this cart, man. If you got the hots for her, I'll seduce you.
I think
You know
Jericho
what?
would be
If
the
you
one
do
to-
that, I will
the
let
seduce.
loose the vampire on all of us just to end it all.
No.
Hey, baby, you want a taste of my dream pastry? Ugh. That's it, Bryce.
I'm good.
I don't want to think about that.
All right, everybody. Twitch people, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it.
So before we tune out, are we gonna make this like a weekly or bi-weekly?
I think right now, while we're quarantined, I feel like you want to just shoot for keeping it on Mondays. I've got the Monday stream slot open anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well keep it up. So also Twitch people or whoever, if you want to let us know in Discord or here or whatever, I would love to know what you thought of this. Weasel has cheered 500 of War's dogs for it, so I assume Weasel's having a good time and he stuck around, so I appreciate that. Yeah, let us know where we can improve. We have a podcast with 50-something episodes in a world that I've created, and the more I think about us not being in that world, sometimes I kind of miss it while we're playing this one. But
the world is definitely missed.
but
I miss my character.
yeah, there's like 50.
Right?
There's 50-something episodes of that. So if you're feeling froggy, you can jump into Dungeon Boys. But one thing about the podcast is we don't really have a lot of people listen to it, if anybody, so we don't get a lot of feedback. So it would be nice to, if we have anybody tuning into this, to give us any sort of feedback on how to improve the show or whatever. But in the meantime, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. We love you, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Toodles.
Later.